the ashes, the spirits light up the night.
Now, we're live from the Untold Radio Network. It's Untold Radio AM with Monster Quest producer, host Doug Hajicek, and co-host Jeff Perrella Jr. Untold Radio AM is going live right now.
And here we are. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, hello, everybody. We've got a lot of people in chat.
Yeah.
Already. Anyhow, we have a weird show tonight, which we thought we'd have fun with. We had a guest cancel at the last second. And so we just decided to do an open call-in show. So if you've never done a podcast or you're real experienced, whatever, we're going to give the opportunity for a whole lot of people to jump on tonight live. We don't know how it's going to work.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say I'm 8. I think I figured out how to make it work. So we'll see. We'll make it work.
Poor Jeff. We got to keep Jeff in panic mode.
It's okay. No, I'm not panicking. Just I had a little scramble to figure it out, but I think I got it figured out.
Yeah. Anyhow, it should be a very memorable show. And we're going to have a tech breakdown. We've got a really cool camera system we want to talk about that will, I think it'll blow your mind, really, because it's going to change everything coming up.
Cool.
And actually,
I didn't read it yet, so.
Yeah, actually the cost is, it's the lowest is about $500 now. But I expect to see, this is going to go. It's going to be 400 and 300, and eventually it'll be $49 eventually. Yep. So I want to talk about that. We've got weird animal clips.
Yeah, a new segment. That'll be fun.
Yeah, kind of a new segment. And we've got a regular clips if we want to go down that road. And a little bit of news, and that's it. And we're going to get going.
We got some audience trivia too.
Yeah. So let me make the announcement now. If you want to be in the show tonight, all you got to do, Jeff is going to listen to Jeff. He's going to tell you how to do it. So why don't you announce that now, Jeff?
Sure. What we're going to do is you're going to email me here. I'll put up, I made a little graphic here with my email. So email me with your phone number, and I will text you. So email me your name and your phone number. I will text you a link to join in. You can join in with camera or without camera. When the time comes, I'll pull up another picture and I'll show you exactly what to do. But just email me your name and cell phone number, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and so if you're in your bathrobe, no problem. Just turn your camera off.
You can turn your camera off. Yep. We just need audio.
If you're all glitzy tonight and you want to come on camera, no problem. If you're grubby and you want to come on camera, no problem. Whatever you want to do. So it's up to you.
And earbuds with a microphone might make it better for you if you have earbuds handy.
Yeah,
that might work out better for you. But if not, as long as you're in a quiet room, it'll be fine. Yes,
and you're just not going to want to have your volume too loud.
Right.
Because otherwise you might get an echo. So we don't want that. Yeah. And Jeff will be in charge on who comes on. And then once we put you on, if you're done and you've got a question or you want to tell a story or you want to just hang out, just kind of let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
No pressure.
And it should be nuts. We'll try to get as many people on as we can, but also maybe nobody will want to come on.
I'm sure there's a few people that want to be on.
So here we go. All right, so let's do news. And I don't think we have too much, but we've got a little bit of cool news.
Sure. All right, news bumper. Here we go.
Untold Radio news that can be a bit weird is right now.
All right. Researchers launch a new effort to revive an extinct, here we go, 12-foot tall bird species. Just what we need running around. 12-foot tall
Yeah.
bird. Think about that.
The dinosaur, man. It's not really a bird. Birds
You know, your ceiling's probably 8 or 9 feet tall. So there you go. It's going to be a big one.
That's a big bird.
Yeah, and maybe it can pull this one off because of,
It's really recent.
Yeah, we have close relatives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it says researchers at the company Colossal Biosciences are launching a new effort to revive the giant moa bird in its latest effort to resurrect an extinct species. They're the ones that did the so-called dire wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This can be interesting though, because this is a pretty recent animal. These coexisted with essentially modern humans.
Yes. So they might have better luck.
Yeah.
Or maybe we get a midget moa.
That would actually be kind of cool too.
Yeah. All right. Anyhow, moving on. Apparently, the world's largest known turtle nesting site was found in the Amazon jungle. Isn't that cute?
Adorable.
This is the giant South American river turtle, also known as the, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is it the Aru? The Aru turtle?
Aru? I'm not sure.
Aru? I'm going to go with Aru.
Aru, sure.
Apparently, it's a threatened species native to freshwater lakes and rivers. And apparently, it also hangs out in the Orinoco Basin. So researchers, pardon my voice, researchers from the University of Florida have uncovered the largest known nesting site. And see, they have found 41,000 nesting reptiles. So that doesn't sound rare to me, right?
That's a lot of soup. A lot of turtle soup.
Have you ever eaten turtle soup?
If you had turtle soup, it's great. I love turtle.
Yeah, I did have turtle soup once.
Awesome.
From a snapping turtle.
Tastes like alligator. I love alligator too. And frog legs. They all taste kind of similar.
Chicken. Tastes like chicken.
It tastes like frog legs and alligator.
So anyhow, apparently they deployed it says a meticulous squadron of drones to do this, to find these. And also, I was going to throw up a story, didn't have time, of a big, huge gathering of anacondas that they also found that totaled in the thousands, all gathered.
Never eaten anaconda.
Yeah, can you imagine? No, I didn't say you should eat an anaconda. Jeez. Although apparently in Florida, you probably could and should.
Yeah, I've eaten rattlesnake. I haven't eaten anaconda.
Anyhow, so apparently these turtles, because of what they found, it seems like they're kind of out of the woods. They're not so rare anymore.
Cool. That was good to hear.
Yeah. And then astronomers, and speaking of big, astronomers discovered a giant alien planet 35 times more massive than Earth, hiding in a known star system. And apparently they looked at the wobble. You can throw up that picture.
Oh, I thought I did. I had it right here.
There you go. Kind of looks like some other planets, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like a gas giant. Yeah.
Stripes. Yeah, it's a gas giant. And they always call these gas giants planets. And I kind of go, is it really a planet? Because you can't walk on it. Or can you? No.
I know. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I'm sure it's at some point it's solid, but the pressure would be just insane.
Yeah. Anyhow, so apparently this alien planet was hidden and detected in the world's, it says they're examining the orbit of known worlds in the star system, known as Kepler-139. So the newfound exoplanet called Kepler-139f is a gigantic world twice the mass of Neptune and 35 times the mass of Earth. So there you go. What are you going to do with that info? Nothing. Just cool to know.
Yeah.
So much variety out there. So much. All right. And then apparently there was a really kind of a strange attack and escape of a black bear on a dog. So Kaylee Roy, a West Hartford resident, was hiking a trail near Talcott Mountain in Simsbury on June 29th, and her dog Phoenix, a 10-year-old German Shepherd mix. So apparently, what happened? She had a bad feeling. A bear came out, attacked her dog, dragged it away, and she beat it off with a water bottle, a big water bottle, like a 10-pound water bottle. Now,
Wow.
that's guts, but she ended up saving the dog. She rushed the dog to the veterinarians, and they ended up saving the dog. Apparently didn't have, the puncture wounds weren't in any vital organs. So they saved the dog. But oh my God, to fight off a black bear takes some guts for a lady to do. So
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, black bears are not aggressive. Something must have really rattled it. Who knows?
Well, it had cubs.
That would explain it.
And in her words, she says, I was frantic and freaking out. I couldn't believe I got that close to a bear. We literally locked eyes, she said, describing the terrifying experience. My dog was dripping blood and had a lot of adrenaline. So I let her walk a little after picking her up, after she got the dog free. So there you go. And then a Reddit user who just moved into eastern Canada noticed an odd plant creeping beneath her patio. And apparently they were worried that this rapid growth after a year would basically take over their home. And do you know what this is? It's actually quite common. We have a lot of it here too in Minnesota.
I have it in my yard. I'm battling it nonstop.
Oh, you do? And you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's just English
it's amazing
ivy.
how fast. Yeah, it's amazing how fast it grows.
Yeah, it's just English ivy. The fact that this stuff is an invader, and it is apparently aggressive invasive species, and says the vine can regrow from cutting. So if you chop it up, it'll just, you're actually planting more of them.
Yep.
So don't do that. So apparently it'll swallow your entire house if you let it.
It took over my whole landscape area until I figured out what was going on. It's amazing how fast it grows.
I'd like to have a picture of you out there battling the English ivy.
Well, I just keep yanking it and throwing it in the yard clipping dumpster because it's you don't want to leave the clippings there. You gotta yank it out of there.
Yeah, it says their thick growth can deprive trees of sunlight and make them prone to falling because of the vine's weight. Your trees will tip over. There you go. That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. Okay.
We don't want to hear any negative news, do we?
No, not at all.
No.
Not in the mood for it.
No.
I'll hear good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We've got some audience trivia. Did any of those people we gave, or we didn't give, we just wanted to send free LMS2 posters signed? Did those go out?
I believe so. No, please email me, but I'm pretty sure everything I'm pretty sure everything's been sent out that we've talked about.
Oh, good. I was thinking on giving away. No, I'm not going to give away. I would say give away. I'm just going to mail you. maybe one or two of those to our audience.
Yeah.
But we're going to play audience trivia.
Oh, you know what? We got a cool bumper here too. For you want to play the bumper for Legend Meets Science? Oh,
you do?
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead. It's not a bumper. You mean a little teaser, little trailer.
Teaser ad. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hold on. Let's play that right now. That's cool. I am really excited for that. And here,
Yes, we
next.
have, for an update, we have a little shoot we have to do out west and a shoot out east and then one locally here. And
Cool.
we're done.
Awesome. I'm so excited for that.
I'm already working
Awesome.
on I'm already working on the post and I'm already working on graphics and all those elements. And that was just part of it. So,
Yeah. So we're ready for audience trivia?
yes. And we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be on possums or opossum.
We play our little bumper.
It's now time for Untold Radio AM Audience Trivia. Who wants to play?
All right. And the trivia subject is boom.
Yeah, boom. Who wants to play? I'm waiting for somebody that's got a big caps, big yes. Come on, Jeff, be the clock.
Flat Rockland's in.
Okay.
Xerox wants to play.
Yep. Okay. That's all we can have one more.
Who's next? One more can join in. Not Russell Johnson. All right. So we got Flat Rockland, Virax, and Russell Johnson.
All right. So I'm going to just hang on here. I got to get my trusted pen. Virax, Russell, and Flat Rock, right?
Flat Rockland, yep.
All right.
They're the first three.
All right. Possums. They're the only marsupial you're likely to find in North America, in north of Mexico, I should say. And the opossums include roughly, is it 40 species or 100 species of these things? Which one, 40 or 100? So be quick. So, and you guys can play along here. Jeff, you can keep track and let me know who's 40. Kenny, 40. Virax is 40. John Ayers is 140. Well, Virax, okay, well, here's how we're going to do it, too. The first person that gets it right will get it. Russell's 40. Where's Flat Rock? Come on, Flat Rock.
Oh, he was right away. He said.
What did he say?
Or did he? Let's see.
No.
Here. Yeah, he was the first one in. He said 40.
Okay, you're all wrong. It's
You're all wrong.
Yep, it's 100. Yes, there were some people who aren't officially playing that got it right. That did get it right. Like John Ayers got it right.
Yep.
All right, so there's 100. It says they're often thought as a dim-witted, dirty creature whose most impressive trick is acting like they are sick or they're roadkill. Which one? Sick or roadkill? It's one or the other. Do you have any music you can play, Jeff?
Oh, I do. You know what? I do.
You're
Hold on.
killing me.
Let's see here.
There you go. All right. Virax says roadkill. Flat Rock says roadkill. So you guys are right.
Yep.
Did Flat Rock weigh in? Yeah, you guys all got it right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
All right. The truth is just the opposite. Opossums are smarter, cleaner, and more beneficial to did I say peeper? People than many of their woodland comrades.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is that true though, or is that false? Is that all a bunch of crap, or is that True or false that they're smarter, cleaner, and more beneficial to people than many other woodland comrades. So it's either true or false.
Flat was in right away with the right answer.
Get
True.
right. Who else? What about Russell?
And Russell and Beer. Yep, everybody said true. They're all right.
Okay, good. You guys all got it right. We're going to trick you up here, though. These are just...
They're great animals. They really are beneficial to us. I won't say more. We'll keep going.
All right. Are they the only marsupials found in North America? True or false? Are they the only marsupials found in North America? True or false? And a marsupial is it's an animal that has a pouch like a kangaroo.
So Flat said true, Vurick said false, Russell said false. And the correct answer is false.
Actually false, yeah. And the reason is because
Mexico is part of North America. I can't remember which animal's down there, but that's why.
yes, and oh man, I don't know why I lost my place. I'm like, oh yeah, it is, the answer is false.
Yep.
All right. Oh no, the answer is true on that one. The other one
Isn't it?
that's false, yeah. The other one that's false that I hadn't even asked yet, Jeff. You're looking at the wrong one. It's the answer.
Am I looking at the wrong one?
Yeah. Who got it true?
I'm backwards.
You're backwards, dude. You're looking at the wrong question.
Flat got it right.
Okay. Anybody else? Jeff? Anybody else?
John Ayers was right.
I know. John's not playing.
Oh, no one else that was playing got it right.
Okay. All right. We got to get back on track here.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
Two different things here.
They're the only marsupials found. Okay, we did that. But the babies are also called joeys. True or false? So possum babies are called joeys. True or false? That's the question.
Wait a minute. I got to back up a second. We got mixed up here. So they are the only marsupials found north of Mexico.
Yes.
That was the question. You
Yeah.
said North America. So you kind of asked the question wrong.
Okay. How about we just skip that one?
We'll skip that one.
Just skip it.
Because there are so
I got so screwed up, and then never mind. Just let's stick to the question I asked. Possum babies, are they called joeys? True or false? Pete says false. John Ayers says false. Flat Rocket Lion says false. Russell false. Varix true. So Varix is right on that one. Baby possums are called joeys, just like kangaroos.
Yep.
All right. Possums cannot choose when they play dead. True or false? So possums can't choose when they play dead. Flat says false.
Your X is true. Hey, John says true. Or no, Russell. Who's playing? Russell's playing. Sorry.
Russell. Are you okay?
Russell said false.
Are you okay, Jeff?
Not really. I've got a lot going on here.
All right. Anyhow, it's true.
Yeah.
They cannot control when they play dead. They get scared, they drop dead from stress. Man, excuse me. All right. Says playing dead isn't an act. It is not an act for opossums. Their body enters a catatonic state in response to fear. So there you go. All right. Possums can make an offensive odor. True or false? just like a skunk. A possum can make an offensive odor. True or false?
Or like Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yes, John. They're like a
Russell said true. Flat and Varick said false.
So who said true? Russell?
Russell.
And who said false?
Varick said flat.
Okay. It's true. They can produce a stink. So not only do they play dead, they also put out a putrid odor, apparently. So it smells like a corpse. So it's actually the smell beyond the dead, plain dead, or not plain dead, looking dead. They produce a stinky corpse-like smell.
Pretty good trick.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Possums slow the spread of Lyme's disease. True or false? Can you turn the volume down on that just delightful song? There we go. Yeah, that's way better. So, can they prevent this or slow the spread of Lyme disease? True or false? Russell says true. Kenny
All
is
three said true.
True. Yep, you guys are all right.
The
Possums.
Lots of ticks.
What, Jeff?
They eat ticks. That's why. I didn't
Yes,
mention that,
they
but
eat
yeah, they eat ticks.
Yes. Possums have really poor memories. True or false? They have really poor memories. True or false?
Flat said false. Russell said true. And waiting on Virex here.
And what did Russell say?
Russell said true. Flat said false. Virex said true.
Okay, the answer is false. Says their memories are surprisingly sharp. They've done a lot of tests on possums, and they actually have a really good memory.
So Russell,
right.
I'm sorry, Flat got that right.
Flat was the only one that got that right.
Yep.
On top of being immune to most forms of snake venom, is that true or false? True or false? They're immune to most types of snake venom. Varick says true.
No, Varick said that was the last one. So Varick said false. Flat said
false.
true.
Okay.
And Russell said false. So
Flat said true.
Yep, Flat's right.
And the other guys are wrong?
Correct. They are wrong.
Okay.
Flat's right.
Guys are all pretty tied up, though. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Try to move this along here. I don't have too many more. It says here, on the snake venom follow-up, it says, while most animals look at snake and see danger, a possum sees its next meal. They eat snakes, and thus they're pretty immune to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Possums never get rabies. True or false? Possums never get rabies. True or false? I got some false coming in. Eric says false.
Flat said false. Russell said false. And Virex waiting on
Flat says false.
Russell
false.
And Russell both said false. Yep.
And the answer is so all three of them got false.
Well, Virex hasn't answered yet.
Come on, Virex.
Come on. Now let's move on.
All right. The answer is false. They almost never get rabies, but they do occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
On rare occasions. All right. A lot of people think they have rabies because they hiss a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Their tails are scaled and act like a fifth appendage. True or false? And I don't care about that one, so we're going to skip over it. This is the one I want to do. Is it a myth that they can hang upside down from a tree branch and sleep that way? True or false? So can possums sleep hanging by their tail? Yes, it's a prehensile tail. But can they sleep hanging? Eric says false. Kenny's true.
Flats is not a myth.
So who got it right? You know the answer, Jeff.
I think everybody's wrong. Yeah, it is a myth. I think they're all wrong.
Yeah, it is a myth because they can only hold on for a very short time by their tail. They can for a little while, but not very long. So they can't go to sleep. So there you go. So everybody got that one wrong, right?
I believe so.
All right. I was kind of hoping one person would get it right.
Nope. Next up.
All right. They are constantly self-grooming. True or false? So are they grooming themselves quite a bit, or are they not? True or false? Possums groom a lot.
Flat said false. Then Flat said true. Which one is it?
The grooming?
Yeah.
It's true. They are constantly grooming. They're pretty clean. So they take cleanliness seriously, according to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Possums are like house cats. They use their tongues and paws to groom frequently. So who got it right?
Virex.
All right, good. All right. Let's just make this the last one.
Sure.
Their eyes aren't totally black. True or false? Their eyes aren't totally black. True or false? So do they have black eyes? Kenny S says true. John says true. Stephanie Ann says true.
I'll say true.
Okay. Yes, their eyes are not completely, they might seem completely black. As one of their most recognizable features are their opaque type eyes. Opossum eyes do have whites and irises, but because their pupils are usually dilated, they look dark.
Interesting. We got neat animals. They're actually really beneficial to people. They're good to have. And they live. People, you don't see them that often, but they live everywhere. They're all over the place. Doing some counting there.
Yep. It's pretty much a tie, all three of them. So I guess we got to give all three of them a poster.
All right, so guys, email me your even if I've had it from before, just email me again your mailing address. Here, I'll post my email again, jeffp@untoldradioam.com. So please email me your info, and we'll get that out to you.
Yeah, it sounds good. Before we go any further, we have Carl Supp in the back room that popped in. Let's let Carl in.
Sure. Welcome, Carl. Here he comes. Hi, Carl.
Hey, guys.
How are
Nice to see
you?
again.
Very good. Very good.
I like your shirt.
Yeah. It's got
like a
little summary Bigfoot
summary
Nice.
Bigfoot shirt.
Ooh,
It's good. All right,
I love
Carl.
it. Awesome.
We're about to play some weird animal clips. Very weird.
Okay.
Comments are welcome. Let's start out with one that is weird. And I think you have a new bumper. You like to
I do. Let me
play these
find it
bumpers. Let's
here.
play that.
There it is.
that
Yep,
new
hold on
bumper.
1 second. Here we go.
It's time for Untold Radio AM Strange Animal Clip Picks. And you thought Bigfoot was weird?
I don't think that was mixed real well in the audio. It said at the end, and you thought Bigfoot was weird. In case anybody missed it. All right, first one, clip 1A, no sound. There probably isn't going to be any sound in any of these. We're going to really whip through these quick, Jeff.
Okay.
So clip 1A. This is the blue poison dart frog. I think they're weird. Anything blue in nature, especially in a reptile, is just bizarre. Did you ever catch those blue-tailed skinks when you were a kid, Carl?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did too. I always thought that was so cool. Blue tail. It just seemed so unnatural. All right. Clip 2B. No sound. This is the lesser blind mole rat. Just one of the ugliest creatures ever invented, I think.
Yep. I'm with you there.
God, isn't that just gross? Terrible. Ugh, nightmares. Clip 3C.
That one didn't come through. Gotta skip that one.
Oh, that's fine. All right.
Yep, go to clip 4.
Just so you know what you missed. It was a giant clam's neck. Their body, its neck, sticking way out. And it's just weird. So you can look that up on your own. All right. The next one, clip 4D. This is a Babirusa pig.
Wow.
That is a strange animal.
Yes, we do have. And yeah, like I said, you thought Bigfoot was weird. The next one is just as weird. No sound. It's a tufted deer. This is a tufted deer, but you see the fangs.
Yeah,
Of
that's
course,
pretty wild.
it resides in Asia. All right, the next one, no sound. Some people are familiar with this, but it's one of my favorite weird birds. It's a secretary bird.
Yeah, the cool bird.
They're just cool. It's like an eagle on stilts with a headdress. All right, next. The next one. Yep, no sound on this. Yep, it's a deer that's called a dick. No jokes.
No jokes.
It's cute. I mean, I love the nose on the thing.
It's in India. I actually got to see some of those.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I wonder why they call it the dick. I'm joking.
Well, it's DIK, but yeah. Okay.
It's DIK. I know. But you do wonder, because it does have an interesting nose, right?
Yep.
Jeff, right?
And they're tasty
Yes.
too.
Oh, I never, yeah. That's kind of a cool animal. And they're really small, aren't they? I think they're really small.
Yeah, they're small. All right, next, I want you all to meet the markhor. Do you know, ever seen one of these, Carl?
No, never have.
This is a cliff-scaling goat with spiral horns that can grow up to 5 feet long. Look at that.
I mean, in Arizona, we've got, bighorn sheep, but nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. If I saw that, I think it was in some kind of a movie set for Star Wars.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
That's called the markhor, the cliff-scaling goat. Okay. Next one is a horned. Now, I don't know how to pronounce it. Yuan. I think the G is silent, isn't it? Yuan. It's a unicorn bird, and that's kind of a hard horn thing.
Okay, kind of looked like he's permanently hitchhiking.
Yeah, it's like a thumb. Okay. Okay. Clip 11 is an aardvark. A lot of people have heard the name aardvark. Seldom have people seen one. This is an aardvark, and they eat ants, insect eaters. They have a long tongue. God, they're weird. Ugh.
Yeah,
Okay.
nature's bizarre, isn't it?
It really is when you start getting these things back to back. Okay. You've seen the shells of these on clip 12N. You've seen the
Nope, that one didn't come through either.
Oh,
Sorry.
cut it out.
There's two there. That's the last one. Everything else I got.
Why
That
didn't you
one-
just?
That one,
Oh, I wanted to show that one. It's so
the
cool.
link didn't come through. The nautilus, yeah, they're beautiful animals. I think everyone's seen a nautilus, but they're
Well,
pretty-
they have the shell, but not the animal. They haven't.
Yeah.
This is really cool. All
didn't
right.
have time to track that down. So moving on.
Move along. Move along. Are there any more that aren't tracked down?
I don't. Yeah, there's one clip that didn't come through.
Well, then
I'll
you
call it-
introduce these. You know which ones.
When we get to it, I'll let you know.
Oh my goodness.
It's in Doug's clips.
Oh, okay. All right. Clip 13. This is called Halimeda crab. It's one of the ocean's best camouflaged crabs. It almost looks like a praying mantis, but this is underwater and it's a crab. Look at this little green little pinchers. So delicate. It's amazing. It really is. Think of all the little crabs I haven't even discovered yet.
Oh, it's got to be countless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The next one is a school of venomous eel catfish. This is a whole school of venomous eel
Oh, wow.
catfish.
Looks like it's walking. That's wild.
Yeah. Carl's going to have a bad dream about these.
Yeah, I am.
It's just weird when things school up like that. Okay. The next one is a tapir or a tapir, and it's a little calf, another weird animal.
Yeah,
those
they
ones
have
are
those at the
prehistoric
Phoenix
looking.
Zoo. And back in 1976, I was a junior zookeeper
Yeah.
in the summertime, and
Oh, that'd be
I
awesome.
remember, got to feed the tapirs, and got the best one was though feeding the alligators, because you've got a wheelbarrow full of turkey necks, and boy, those alligators were something else when they ate. But
Well, I've heard these tapirs have one weird quality I'm not going to talk about. Do you know what I'm talking about, Carl?
I do not.
Oh,
I do not.
okay. I'm not going there. But they have a unique, let's just say an organ.
Okay,
Yeah, it's unique.
probably
All right.
related to the that small deer that you had up before. Yeah. Okay, got it.
What do we got next?
Next up is 16.
Yeah, it's 16R. We have the basking shark. Now, what's weird about these is they're the second largest fish in the ocean, and they grow up to 40 feet long. Such a strange creature. They just swim with their mouth open. Catch little
they're sifters.
plankton and things like that. They filter feeder.
Yep.
But you just wouldn't think a filter feeder would get that big, what they do.
It's kind of
All
like
the
a
biggest-
whale shark. Yeah, the whale shark's
Yeah.
probably bigger. Right?
The
Yeah.
whale shark is the biggest.
I think
yeah.
they're the biggest. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
biggest whales are filter feeders. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw one I saw a whale shark down in the Gulf of California, down in Mexico. That was pretty. You're in a kayak, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, like it came in to check me out. Now I thought, well, this might be it, and then I'm like, oh no, wait, it's a whale shark. I'm like,
Yeah, they're
we're
very
good.
docile.
We're good. Yeah.
Yes. And of course, whales are mammals, so they're not a fish. These are actual fish.
Yep, they are.
People are. Oh, I see some people are guessing about the tapir. Eric Sorensen says corkscrew. No, Eric, you're wrong there.
That was actually my guess, but I didn't know.
It's not a
I
corkscrew.
don't know the answer.
No, I'll just say the word large. I'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
That's enough. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Tech breakdown. Let's do that. And then do you guys get ready? Anybody who wants to come on? And we'll keep reminding people because there'll be new people joining. If you want to come on, just make sure you put something in all caps. So, they have to email you. Correct, Jeff?
Yep. I've got one so far.
Okay, good. All right. So we have one. If you want to join in, you can join in. Right now, we're going to do a tech breakdown on a really cool camera system.
Okay.
All right. So just you and Carl. I'm staying off camera because I want to talk about this camera. Throw up that first photo. What I want to talk about is a camera system. And these are two different cameras there. There's one inexpensive model and a more expensive model. This is a bispectrum camera. That's what I want to talk about. Bispectrum. What does that mean? That means it produces an IR signal, a regular color signal, but then another lens that's right by the other lens is a thermal camera. And what's cool is in your computer, you can combine all of these, or if you see something weird, you can look at it with a thermal camera and a regular camera, right? Or you can shut one off and leave the other one on, but they both incorporate artificial intelligence. Have you heard of a bispectrum camera? If anybody would have, it would be you, Carl.
Yeah. So, what year was that? 2011. I actually took 2 Border Patrol agents and about 10, 12 Border Patrol explorers up onto Mount Graham in Arizona, which is about, I don't know where we were camping. It was probably about 9,000 feet. So, it gets up into Canadian climate temperate zone up there. But and they brought along a camera that I have no idea how much it is, but it actually combined like Gen 3 night vision with thermal overlay.
Yes.
And you could do it looking straight through it. And that was fantastic. And even though at my location where I was with some of the kids, we didn't actually see one. The other Border Patrol agent and a bunch of kids actually got to see a Bigfoot up there. So, but
very cool.
That was pretty neat.
So
but it's a bunch of high school kids. They just interested in being Border Patrol. So.
But that was 2011, so they had the technology way back, but now it's available to the public. That was government. Yeah. So Carl got to look at some government stuff. They always have everything way before we ever, slowly civilians, get a hold of this technology. But what's cool? Okay, so here's what's cool. Throw up the other photo, Jeff, of the other camera. Just a single one. It's kind of there we go. But you can see these two lenses. Now, they're not real big. They're, these... anywhere between 2 millimeter and 7 millimeter. They're very small lenses, but one lens is a thermal. The other is a regular camera that goes from color and IR. And you've got just every combination of things you can do. You could trigger it just to go off and let you know if something that's on 2 legs that's walking by. These are going to be a game changer. And I think every security camera at some point will be bispectrum. As thermal cameras get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But the technology is available now. You can go all the way from this one's $500, $499, or you can spend $1,100. I'm sure you can spend way upwards of that, going. Yeah, just these are on Amazon. That's why I picked these two, because they're there, but I'm sure, the sky's the limit on what you want to spend, what you could get. But they do work good, and they do have a lot of AI technology. They have two-way audio, so that's kind of a cool. So you can broadcast sounds. If you are getting a lot of visitors at your house or cabin, you can put one of these up. And you're going to need, though, I do believe you're going to need some kind of a DVR to record the footage onto. And they're not that expensive.
No.
DVRs, I know you can get them. Crap, I've seen them at garage sales for $5, or you get a new one for $500 with a lot of storage. It's all over the map on DVRs. So I say $500 or less. So there you go. And this, what else here? And then you could do a fusion, which is when you take the two modes and you do an overlay.
Yep.
And there is a camera project that Logan has, and I know he has one of these cameras up. It's being used for the first time for Bigfoot research right now. So, and that's by Spectrum. All right, that's enough of that crap. And let's get into the topic here.
I have one person. I sent it out. They have not logged in yet. But long as we got a second here, I will explain what to do. So, anyone's welcome to call in. If you like I said, if you email me with your phone number, I will send you a link that you can click on your phone, and the screen will look like this. So you could put your name in there. If you look on the bottom where that red little button is, that turns your camera on and off. So if you want to come on without camera, right now, if it's red like that, it means your camera's off. So you can turn the camera on and off to join in. But anyone, please email me. Again, I'll put that email up if you want to join in. Hold on one second here.
Yeah, what's the fun in that if you don't turn your camera on?
Yeah, if someone's I would rather have you on camera, but if someone's nervous about that, I understand.
Sure.
But yeah, so email me with your cell phone number, and I will text you a link, and we'd love to get you on. And looks like Rusty is ready to go. Rusty, aka William Robinson. So let me pull this off. Hold on a second. And I think it would be wise to play this. And just a reminder before I bring you on, Rusty, I know you know this, but just to anybody else, just a reminder, this is family friendly, so we gotta watch our language and whatnot. So you there, Doug?
Yeah, I'm here.
We are ready to bring on Rusty.
I am here.
Yeah,
let's bring on Rusty. And then Flat Rockland said he would like to jump on. He's got a quick story.
I can email. Let's get Rusty. You ready there? All right. He's just getting settled in here.
Yeah, let him get settled in. All right, Carl, what in the hell have you been up to lately on research?
Oh gosh, I've been doing a lot of I'll just say paper research of late. I am planning next weekend actually to go up into the mountains for a 3-4 day weekend. I'm not sure which yet, but I'll be going up to my research area and hanging out with the big guys. So.
What is I know you've told this story, but in brief, what is the weirdest situation that ever happened to you in an encounter?
Oh gosh, it would have to be the one where I had my head cupped through the tent, and then my body lifted off the air mattress about 3 a.m. in the morning, and
wow.
And you could just feel the whole hand just cupping the head as it lifted. And so I woke up and my shoulder blades are off the air mattress, and then the moment I kind of turned like, and start waking up, and then it just gently let me down, and you could hear dermal ridges on the tent material just kind of zip, and then
Oh, wow.
bipedal walking off the, walking away. And, and I'm a big guy. I got to, I don't have a big head. I'm not big headed, but yeah, I do have a big skull, and it completely, my head was small in its hand. I'll just put it that way.
Wow.
So,
I mean, did you at that point literally fear for your life?
you know what? I actually didn't. And in fact, I kind of sat up and I unzipped the corner of my tent to see if I could, get a glimpse of it, and I could hear where it was walking, but I couldn't see it anymore. But yeah, I'm not, after seeing one run full tilt through the woods, and they're so fast, and they're so, and looking at different structures they build and the way they've, there was one where it was probably a 75-foot tall ponderosa that had been moved over in order to make a giant X. And, one of them was just, sitting there, was like a tree fall, and they brought over this other log from, I don't know where. I looked within probably 200 feet around that entire tree area, and so they had hauled that tree over and placed it in that location. And, once you understand how they're so incredibly strong and fast, it's like, and you just have to reconcile with yourself and say, they could take me at any time, and they don't. So don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Well, there's always that little statement called "not yet."
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to jump back to the camera because, like Eric's saying, what model number? Just search up Bispectrum camera on Amazon. The only two cameras they have will come up, which are the two I showed. Bispectrum security camera. Yep, they'll pop up and you'll be able to find them. And yes, you can eliminate the elimination on them. There's a lot of things you can do. So give us a wave whenever you're ready to come on, Rusty.
Yep, looks like he's ready.
Let him
And then
join.
Flat, I did email you a link. If you prefer that I text it to you, just send me another email back, and I can with your number, and I can text it to you. But I did send it to you. And here we are. Welcome, Rusty, to the show. Hello.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Yeah, good to
See you again.
Carl, David Parker said that was probably a curious juvenile that grabbed you.
It was a pretty big hand.
Okay.
But yeah, there's more to that story, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a juvenile, David. But yeah, I mean, it could have been. Who knows? I didn't get it really a look. I just heard him running off. So.
Yeah. So I don't. Are you familiar with Carl's work, Rusty?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Not in detail. I hadn't heard that particular story before, but I had heard of him. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I couldn't even comprehend being touched, slapped, shoved, picked up. The tent, even being in a tent and having them push on the top would be really weird.
Right. Well, and in that same vicinity, probably within I want to say a third of a mile away from where I was camping that night, there was a husband and wife actually had where one had actually pushed down on the tent, and the wife woke up because it was touching her nose, and she was like, and she didn't know, and she opened her eyes and the whole tent was pushed down.
Wow.
And she screamed, and her husband woke up, and then the tent popped up and you could hear bipedal running off, so yeah, they're used.
Just a reminder too, we've had Carl on the show a couple times recently. I highly recommend you go back and look at those shows if you haven't. They're great episodes. Carl's been a great guest, so
yeah,
I highly recommend going back and watching those.
Yeah. But yeah, it's every time I go up there, I expect to have interaction, and of late, whenever I roll into my my campsite, I hardly even get a lawn chair out of the back of the car, and there'll be rock clacks or just a tree knock, and this is daytime, nearby, not a really big boom, but a, and and I just kind of say, hey guys, yeah, I'm here, and
Carl, can you say just in general, not specifically, what area of the country you're in or your site is in?
Sure. Well, I'm in Arizona, and it's up on the Mogollon Rim, which is a big escarpment that cuts the state pretty much in half, but it has the world's largest ponderosa pine stand, contiguous ponderosa pine stand in the world up there. So, and I know a lot of people think Arizona.
Last December, I guess it was, and we drove around. We didn't camp or anything, but it's beautiful up there. Spectacular forest. You wouldn't expect it in Arizona.
No. And I go way back, way back in, and in the wintertime, it's all closed because there's piles and piles of snow up there. So,
well, that's neat. I enjoyed it up there. I hope someday maybe I'll get a chance to go up there and camp.
You just don't think of that area as being Bigfooty, but can you describe, where these things happen? They don't happen in the desert. They're happening in the forested areas where there's water.
Well, they're actually, so, the same thing, right? If you have cover, if you've got, if you've got food, and if you've got, water, right? They could, anybody, and there's areas down in the desert that have all three. And in fact, there's one desert area that I've been to several times. I actually got a photo of one peeking out from this area across the river that I was at. I mean, and everyone with me suddenly was like, I feel like I'm being watched. And, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to start taking photos, and here's one just peeking out like that. And it would really blend in, except that the glint off of the eye that you could really spot it in there. But I found all kinds of structures down in the desert as well. But
really?
This time of year, I'm not going down in the I like getting cool up in the mountains.
It's got awful in the desert in Arizona right now.
Right. Yeah. I normally go up there between November and March, maybe early April, down in the desert areas. But, when my northern site is closed for the duration of winter. So
is that where they said that Travis Walton had his, alien encounter abduction?
Yes, absolutely. I'm probably, it's not far. It's probably about 10 miles. My location's probably about 10 miles from Travis Walton's area. And I actually got to meet him and talk to him for probably, an hour.
Wow.
It was at the state fair, believe it or not. And it was, they had a big alien encounter tent set up. And I went in there and there was all kinds of stuff in there. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I look over in the corner and I was the only one in the tent. I mean, it was a large tent. And there's Travis sitting in the corner and he had a pile of books, and I just pulled up a chair and we sat down and, it was all the way from there to the end of the state, when the state fair closed that day. I just sat there talking with him and bought a book and had him sign it. And, but yeah, it was pretty interesting, especially since, Arizona, you have such clear skies most of the time. You can see all kinds of strange things. I mean, in fact, in 1997, March 13th, I was working late in downtown Phoenix and walked out of work and there was the Phoenix lights pretty much overhead. So, and at the time I was like, I don't know what, but I was exhausted and put in like a 13-hour day. And I was like, I got to get home. And I get home and turn on the news and at 10 and they're like, oh my, like, I was like, I saw it, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't really put two and two together when I saw it, but
yeah, I had the pleasure of getting to know Mike Rogers, and to hear it, you know, straight out of their mouth, what happened from another witness is pretty cool.
oh, it was.
It really is.
You know, when I think back on it, it was like it was not. It blocked out stars overhead. You know, in between the lights, which is, but the lights were really weird. It was, it wasn't a tail light, you know, or any marking lights on an airplane or a helicopter. You know, I mean, my initial thought when I saw it was that it was a, you know, it was maybe a formation of helicopters, but where it was heading south, pretty much down 24th Street in downtown Phoenix there, it was, you know, that's restricted airspace, you know, because Sky Harbor Airport is just right down the road from there. And that would bisect the planes on approach.
So I was going to mention, if you're not talking, just mute your mic. That way we don't have any of the background. Rusty, could you mute your mic? Just so if you're talking, just kind of keep your mouse button right over that mic, the mute thing, and then go ahead and chime in. I think Flat Rockland is in the back room.
Yep.
He's in the green room. Let's bring him on. We're still happy to bring on more people here.
Yeah,
people
welcome.
you don't have to stay for the whole show. You can come in, tell a story, then get the hell out. So,
you know, I was going to ask Carl, has he been able to spend any time in the Superstition Mountains, which are not far from Phoenix? I always thought those were fascinating.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. It's back, I've hiked all the way back into what's called Revis Ranch, which is was I want to say not a settler, you know, a prospector that lived out there and had a cabin with and planted apple orchards out there, and they he was really smart, because so many other people that went out there you know, would get attacked by Apache out there all the time. And what he would do, and I know this is going to sound funky, but he would actually at every evening when he was at the cabin, he would strip naked and then go out and take a stick and run around in the apple orchard, and you know, because he understood the Apache, you know, the Apache legends, which was that if someone was crazy and you killed them, it would release that inner demon, you know, and it could infect you. So he was never touched during there, just because of that little bit of knowledge he had. So no, it's a weird story. But
interesting.
David, I did text it to you. It looks like I got your number right. I will email it to you as well. But check your. I don't know why I didn't go through, but I did text it to you. So here I'm emailing it to you too.
All right, Flat, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Hi guys. Hi Doug.
Hi.
Hey, I got your hat on again.
Yeah, I see the P
I
hat.
bought you one, so I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh no.
Oh.
All right.
Oh my God. Okay.
Sorry, Rusty.
What's your story?
Okay.
Your story.
Well, last time I was on, you asked what the weirdest thing I heard was.
Yeah.
Out in the woods, and I was thinking about it. There's one time I was in a tent in Greenwater, one of those weird lakes where I had that last encounter. I heard, it was exactly 2:00 in the morning. I heard what sounded like a pole. What do you call those machines that hit in the big poles for like the freeway? It just ka-ching.
Pile driver.
Thank you, Rusty. Pile driver. But this was 10, 15 miles in the bush. I'm thinking maybe they're doing freeway work, but that was so far away. There's no way it could have been freeway work. So here's the thing. It did about 5 of them stopped in a rhythmic pattern. And I was thinking maybe gunshots. No, definitely not gunshots. 1 minute later, it started again. 7 of them stopped. 1 minute later, 5. Stopped. 1 minute later, 11. Then 1 minute later, I think it was 8. And that was it. But it was exactly 2 o'clock. And I don't know. I don't know if there's a reasonable explanation if someone's digging a well in the woods at 2 a.m. Anyways, that was very weird. And it was in a spot where there's been lots of activity. I've talked to a couple of people that have had Bigfoot reports there. Just a weird noise. So I don't know what to make of that. And it was metallic. You know?
It was metallic.
Yeah.
Did it maybe sound like something was beating a rock against an existing pole, or louder?
It was off in the distance. It was loud, but it's very rhythmic, perfectly rhythmic. So
weird.
Yeah. So I just wondered if anyone's heard anything like that. I've actually heard one story. I think it was Small Town Monsters, and someone was maybe in New York, and they were talking about hearing a pile driver noise. That's the only other time I've heard that, but bizarre.
I've heard them beat on power line towers.
Okay.
Sure. But it didn't sound like pile driver. It sounded more like a Star Wars blaster.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've heard anything like that. I think I've heard stories of it, like you were saying, but I can't personally say I've heard anything like that.
It's just that metallic noise in the woods is always bizarre at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that is strange.
Cool.
How far out were you? Like, were you way out in the woods?
From the trailhead, 7 miles, but over the ridge, there's 410. It's Highway 410 is Chinook Pass. It goes over from the west side of the mountains by Mount Rainier, and then over to the other side.
I've driven on that road.
It's beautiful, but where I was, the actual 410 was, you're probably looking at a good 10 miles at least.
Oh, yeah.
And it was weird. There's a lot of Sasquatch activity back there, but there was a fire a couple of years before that, and it's kind of all burnt back there, which is sad. So I don't know how that is going to affect, activity in the future, but I'll find out.
I have to go to Seattle in, let's see, what is it, 3 weeks now?
Nice.
So, for work, but
okay. Yeah, I'm in Tacoma, like 30 miles south.
Oh yeah.
But there's no shortage of places to go around here. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm still trying to decide if I get one free night. Where am I going? But
okay.
But since I'm the facilitator and kind of social planner, it'll be a tight fit in the schedule.
I hear you. Yeah, Seattle's a bear to get around in. So good luck.
Yep.
Well, you can stay flat, and we're not too crowded yet. Hang in there. Verax is trying to get in.
Yep, he has the link.
Oh, he does. You're sure? Why don't you post? Why don't you go ahead and post your email right in chat? People can kind of scroll back and look at it, and then copy and paste it.
Will do.
Rusty, this is like old times.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hadn't seen you, or haven't seen you in the face, I don't think, ever. But,
Well, we were on a couple months ago, and Jim Depitoso, is that your friend?
Yeah.
He's an awesome
He's great
character. I love that guy.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah. Afterwards, I went and Googled some of his old shows, and it's like, oh, wow, this guy's a wealth of knowledge.
He's brilliant. Very smart guy.
Jim's been around the block about 90 times.
Yeah, he got some stories, man.
He knows. There isn't a topic you can bring up with Jim that he doesn't know a lot about.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, it's impressive.
It's kind of nuts. So do you go off often, Flat Rock? Do you go out quite a bit? Or is it just once in a while?
Once in a while. I told you about a story last time I was up in a lake in the Olympics, and I was actually reading Bob Pyle's book
Oh yeah, right.
The Dark Divide, and I got a rock clack across the pond. So I actually went up last week, and there's 3 lakes up there, and I just spent 2 nights, 3 days, and nothing, no activity. Didn't see any structures, so I don't know.
So you're on a pond. You're reading the Dark Divide book, which is about Bigfoot, and you're hearing
a great book.
9:15 in the morning. It was early morning. Well, not early, but.
And you're hearing rock clacking.
Yeah, I was sitting cross-legged, kind of in the middle of this pond, and just heard one loud rock clack, and it was distinct. 30 yards away. Didn't see anything, but I couldn't not laugh. Just like, come on.
Yeah, really. That would be surreal. That would be surreal. And I was thinking of a story that a couple of guys that are very knowledgeable about Bigfoot were doing me a favor, I believe, for Monster Quest. They were just doing some kind of little reenactment. They had a Bigfoot suit. They got done. They took it off, laid it on the ground, and here come rocks sailing over the tree canopy and landing right next to the suit. As if it looked like a dead Bigfoot.
Interesting.
And the timing of that is so uncanny. You know, it's like, huh? Really?
Yeah.
It's just like magical. Like, how, you know, who saw them and why were they throwing rocks at the Bigfoot suit? It was very interesting. So maybe a Bigfoot suit is a good attraction. I don't know. I don't recommend it. I wouldn't
do that.
No, I wouldn't either. So. No, you didn't hear that here. But maybe one hanging somewhere could be your, you know, you could stuff it with newspapers and hang it up and see what happens.
Sure.
Like a scarecrow, but in reverse.
Yes, like a scarecrow, but in reverse. It's a scare Bigfoot.
That's interesting. I hear a lot of people that leave, like gifting, they'll leave little miniature Bigfoots and, you know, figurines. And they almost always say they take it off and put it on the ground. Like they don't like that.
Yeah.
Why is it? It's bizarre. But like everything else will be kind of moved around. And
I've got like a little small stuffed Bigfoot that I put out, you know, thinking, oh, they're going to They've never taken it. They never touched it. But it was really funny. Hot Wheels, those always get taken. Obviously food items, but yeah, it was kind of funny that they like the cars. You know, they like I said, never touched it. And after like 5 tries, I was like, I just tossed it back in my in my kit. And
that's right, Carl. I've actually heard you talk about that before. I think you were one of the people. But you know, and it's really interesting. You know, you give them a gift, you know, and for the longest time in Arizona here, they would just take, you know, they'd take them and that was it, you know, and then all of a sudden they started giving me stuff back, and it was just like, okay, now I'm officially excited about this, you know, but like I said, I think I know they are observing us, or who knows what else, right? But you know, you know, I go out and when I'm hiking around up in the mountains there, I always look for fossils. Well, you know, I wake up in the morning and here's a fossil sitting on my hood or sitting on the roof of my car, you know, at night. That's like, great.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I think Verax is
yep.
in.
He's ready to come on.
Yeah, just go ahead and let him in.
One more.
I have a few interesting gifting stories, but one of them happened this year. Again, it was out in Greenwater, kind of where Barb Shoe got her cloaking video on a river. So years ago, I was camping out there with a friend, just doing an overnight hike, and we got a old pickle jar left in the trail coming back, and you know, most people are like, oh, that's trash. I was like, ooh, that's interesting. No people have been up here. So, of course, I'm thinking, you know, it's a gift. The next year I come back, the pickle jar still on the side of the trail. It's an old logging road, but it's gated, and it's 4 miles in, and not many people go back there. So it could be people, but this time it was November. I got a garter snake tied in a knot, dead in the middle of the road where that pickle jar was, same area, and it was 30 degrees. There's no snakes out, right? I've never seen a snake out when it's frosty. So it's
that's
fresh.
weird.
Super weird. So this year I was back with the same friend, and we're camping overnight, and we're collecting firewood, and we're talking about how we've never found an elk skull in the wild. Like, I've never found a shed, a skull, anything like that. And neither has he. And we were like, that's kind of weird. We come out a lot. We've never seen one. That's bizarre. So the next day we're hiking back out, same road. I brought like a blue clear marble and a little crystal, and a tumbled agate, a nice smooth agate. And I laid them on the pickle jar, which was still there on the side of the trail after 2.5 years. And I just said, hey, thanks, guys. And we walk 500 yards around the trail, and we see this white thing in the trail down the road. And I go, Todd, that's going to be, that better not be a damn, I don't know what that is, but that's weird. We get down there, it's an elk skull. Here, I'll go grab it. Hang on a second.
All right.
Virax.
Yeah, you guys' experience is way different from mine, in that mine was when, oh, look at that great skull.
So I guess it's a cow, there's no horns, but all the teeth are there. It was definitely came out of the woods. There's still leaves on it, still some moss, but it was right in the middle of the trail, almost OCD, like in like this, there's some cracks, and those placed right in those cracks, just right there. So it couldn't have missed it. And again, it could have been people, but we didn't see any people. And we were just talking weird. We never found an elk skull the night before. And there it was.
Very interesting.
I hiked into an area, remote, so before I even start any of my research, I always drive the entire area, and I scope out, okay, who's camping where, and a lot of times it's like one camper and they're like 8 miles away, but I'll note them all on the map where people are, but I get way back into areas while I'm hiking back in there, and on this trail I was following, and I'm sure they knew I was hiking up that area, but right in the middle of the trail, there's a glyph on the ground, right in the dead center of the trail, and you could see the pieces. It was twisted, and they were all placed, and I was like, so I took pictures of it, I noted it and everything, and then I hiked about a mile, 2 miles ahead, and then I started coming back towards the car, and I get to that area where the ground glyph was, and it's gone. It's been removed. And right exactly where that glyph was, there is a bright yellow and black bird feather stuck in the ground. So it's just standing up on the trail like that, right exactly where the glyph was. And I was like, okay, you want me to take it? I'll take it, But,
yeah.
So,
I've always been kind of scared to take things just to bring home kind of weird juju, but that skull was too cool. I had to take it.
Yeah.
So, it's in my living room.
Has anybody ever experienced some kind of strange occurrence at home after you've come back from an expedition or from the woods where you were actively looking for Bigfoot?
That's what I was scared of, Doug, and no, I have not. I don't think so.
Nor have I.
So you thought about it, and you haven't. Rusty, how about you, Carl? He's nodding his head. But hang on just a second. Virax, do you want to give us a mic test so we can hear you?
You're muted.
He's muted right now.
Button.
That's fine. Just unmute. I want to get him.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Now we can
Sorry
hear you.
about that.
No
That's
problem.
Hey, fellas.
So where are you from?
Myself,
Yep.
Toronto. Well,
Toronto,
I'm actually born in Atikokan, which is a few hours south of Snellgrove Lake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
You
half
sound
my
like a native guy from Ontario.
Hey?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Hey,
Half my family's on the border of Minnesota. So
Oh,
half
really?
of them are in International Falls, Minnesota,
Oh,
and
very
then north
cool.
of there to Lake of the Woods. And
Oh,
I was
sure.
born in
I was gonna say,
Atikokan.
tell us all about it. Come on.
Yeah, about it. That's right. Okay, bud, let me give her.
So do you have a real
Booted.
name you want to use? Or we can just
Well,
use
yeah,
your...
you call me David. Would
David?
be great. I have 5 companies, and one of the companies is actually my last name. And so I've
I
got
you.
into this community, and it didn't take very long for me to realize maybe I should go with a synonym for now.
Yeah, no problem.
Only because what led me to the community, which is what happened to me in October. And I have a cabin here east of Toronto. I let's just say I was a skeptic. Bigfoot wasn't really on my mind. Born in Atikokan, which is a 24-hour drive from Toronto straight northwest. And there's still lots of Ontario to go, as Doug would know. Snow grows a few hours north of there. And so my grandparents owned a fly-in fishing camp and 7 cottages around a bay on Rainy Lake up there where they hold the Canadian Bass Classic.
I grew up on Rainy Lake. Yeah, beautiful area.
I know that area.
Yeah,
too,
so you know, well, I know you know the boundary waters there very well. And anyway, so when I was young, as kids, we'd go to my grandparents and play on the beach at their resort. And I mean, when I say young, I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I have 2 brothers, one that's a few years older than me, and one that he's a year younger than me. We're the same age for 5 days. Anyway, my mom, when we go out there, we got rushed off the beach a few times. And it was my grandfather that came out, and he had his gun, and he was old school and lived in the woods, right? So we would sit in the bay window when we got into his cabin to watch the black bears play on the beach. And it wasn't until years later that I realized that those weren't black bears. So that never really registered for me. We moved down to Toronto when I was, I think, 15, and I went back every summer to work. I have 2 uncles had bait shops and a game. I guess it's like, they have guns and ammo store and stuff, and we would summer intern for them as kids all the way through to college every summer. And both of them had float planes that they would fly in and get the minnows and stuff, fill the floats on the planes with the minnows and stuff. So we were in the bush all the time up there, but growing up in the city of Toronto, and it never really registered with me until this last fall in October. At our cabin, I was sitting at the fire. I don't drink or do drugs or anything like that. I'm not really wild, crazy guy. I'm usually bushwhacking and cutting grass and cutting weeds and everything else, so I can relate. But was sitting there, and the weirdest thing changed my paradigm. It's changed my relationship with some of my family members and everything since.
Really?
I've been having some tough times. Yeah, it's. I've never told this to anyone other than my wife. Who we then had many discussions of whether we should just sell the property. Told my brothers, and they both kind of scoffed, where they're not, Bigfoot doesn't register with them. My older brother had mentioned that, he looked into it a few years back when he was following Joe Rogan and everything else. And then he said, well, that Joe Rogan got off the scent of whether they're real or not, and he just got turned off, so which kind of turned him off. And he has 2 companies that he's running. My whole family's in business, right? And pretty big businesses, so it's not like we have a lot of time. What happened to me in October led me to this community to find out what it was. So I'm sitting at the fire, and maybe you guys can help with this. I sent Jeff some clips because in my research of going through now the Bigfoot community at large on YouTube, I have over 300 YouTube channels that I am constantly going through quickly to see, and going through the transcript of their YouTube. We talked about this, or you guys talked about this, Doug, with the young lady that's doing the data research.
Right.
So you can take the transcript from your YouTube after you have your show tonight. I take the transcript and then I go through it with a keyword search AI program to specifically look for what happened to me, because that's what's important to me. I'm not going to be a researcher.
But you're looking for answers.
I'm looking for answers. That's what led me here. And in doing so, what led me to Bigfoot was one of the very first shows I watched had Ron Moorhead on it. And Ron Moorhead was talking about the Sierra Sounds and going through, like, when all his interviews, they go through his experiences and stuff. And he said that him and his partner were sitting there, they were getting all that activity, they were recording it, they getting the sounds and everything else. Well, one night it was him and I think it's Keith, his friend, that was there, and they're in that little wood, if you want to even call it a shelter. Anyway, they were in there and they're listening, and they said the Bigfoot they could hear was close, really close, just up the hill from them. So Ron and him decided, I think he's just probably about 20 feet up the hill from us here. Let's just surprise him. Let's rush him. So him and Keith agrees. They jump out, they turn the corner, they run up the hill, they get about, I guess, 6-7 steps, and boom, he gets frozen. Keith gets frozen. He says he's 3 feet behind him, and he says, "Ron, what's going on?" And Ron says, "I don't know. I can't move." He says, "Neither can I." So he said, I could see, I'm thinking, but I can't move a muscle. He goes, and wow. He says, "No, nor can I." So those two clips I just sent to Jeff's email, he has them there, which is just very intriguing. But when he said that, my mouth hit the floor, because that's exactly what happened to me. There's a lot more to it, but that happened to me, where I was frozen. I'm completely sober, lucid, can think, breathe, blink, not move. And I'm pushing with all my, I'm not a small guy. I'm 6 foot, 240 pounds. I'm pushing with all my might, and I can't move. So I decided, and I'm trying, it was just the weirdest thing ever. So I decided I'm going to spin, and I spun around in a 360 and tripped, but moved forward and went straight at my chair beside the fire, hit the chair, and was like, "What was that?" Okay. Now, mind you, here's the thing. Before that, because I kind of jumped ahead to what led me to the community, which was the Ron Moorhead clip and the Kevin Kine. I also sent that clip, and I sent another clip of a gentleman named Bob that was interviewed. So I've been going through systematically as many of these Bigfoot videos and people telling their encounters and stuff, looking specifically for anything that relates to being frozen, paralyzed, sleep apnea while awake, like all of the keywords you can think of that describes the feeling, because it's just the weirdest feeling. I was,
Well, can I just interrupt you just for a second? Was that the most terrifying part of the encounter?
Man. No, that wasn't terrifying.
So you're paralyzed.
I was paralyzed. It freaked me out. Was I scared? Man. No, because I didn't see anything in front of me that was doing it to me. I didn't know what was doing it to me. What freaked me out was how I got there. So I'm sitting beside the fire. The fire goes down, it's burning down a little bit. So I decide I'm going to throw another log on. I get up, and I have a wire mesh that goes over the fire when we're not using it. And I use cement blocks, little cement blocks, to hold down the fencing when we're not there. Well, one of those cement blocks was beside the fire. I didn't see it when I was going to reach for the log to throw on the fire, I tripped on that cement block and I was going face first into the fire. Something grabbed me by my back and threw me like I was a beanbag. I did a 360 in the air and I landed 10 feet on my back, flat on my back, staring at the stars. And no wind knocked out of me. Okay, now I landed on a small fern bush that we have there. So it was a soft landing, I guess you could say. I'm lying there. I'm looking straight at the stars, clear night. And the first thing that went through my mind is I'm dead. I'm not dead. I'm blinking. So I played professional, semi-professional hockey, semi-professional volleyball, semi-professional beach volleyball. I played tons of sports. In hockey, been hit, been in lots of fights. So I know pain. So I'm waiting for it because I just flew through the air and I did a 360 and it landed. And I'm waiting for the pain to hit. So nothing happens. And I'm looking at the stars and I'm like, what the hell? Like that put me in, I think, maybe shock. I don't know. So then I got up and I took 3 steps and boom, frozen. So, what my wife said was like, I didn't think of is she's like, well, whatever happened, whatever grabbed you, because it could have been at that time. I'm thinking aliens. I'm thinking spirits. I've never heard anyone anywhere. I've never been in any group or community that's talked about being thrown by something. Something that you can't see. That's not there. When I got up, there's nothing there. So then, it's like, what the hell just happened? And I go to walk back to the fire and I get frozen. So, it wasn't until I saw a couple of these videos also, there's and it's the most well-known guys in this community. It's Ron Moorhead, it's Kevin Kine, I think his name is. This guy Bob, also Bigfoot Michigan Rob, in his encounter, according to him, he was frozen in the boat. So, your paradigm shifts after that. Everything shifted. Now, 2 psychiatrists, 2 psychologists, 2 psychotherapists, all of which have not been able to do for me personally to get me back to where I was before that night, I don't even know how long it lasted. Maybe, I don't know how long I was paralyzed there. It felt like a minute, but it was probably 30 seconds. When I was laying there on my back looking at the stars, that felt like a minute, maybe longer, and but it could have been less. My wife said, well, whatever grabbed you and threw you saved you from the fire. And I was burnt on my arm all the way up, and all the hair gone on my arm and everything, because I landed, I guess when I was going at the fire, I landed on one of the bricks and was close enough to the fire that it singed all the hair, and I was burnt all the way up my arm. And then I got thrown, but it happened so fast that, and my wife said, well, whatever saved you is probably what froze you. And I said, and she said, because you laid there looking at the stars, when it threw you, you did a 360, and it wasn't just grab me and pull me back from the fire. I'm talking, I caught air and I landed 10 feet on the other side of the yard. So she said, it probably thought it killed you. You sat there, you didn't move, and you're staring at the stars, doing your little self-check of whether anything's broken and why you're, waiting for the pain and everything. And it probably thought it killed you and probably came in for a closer look, and you jump up and you start walking, and it's just self-defense mode. Nope, you're gonna be frozen for a second while I walk or get away or whatever. No noise, no footsteps, no, mind you, again, I wasn't looking for any of that stuff. I wasn't. Now, if anything like that happened, I mean, there's a few more cues that I would probably key in on. I'd probably listen a hell of a lot closer for footsteps or anything else, or anything that could have done it. But at that, in that second, in that whole night, because the next morning we were packing up and I'm coming home. I didn't feel safe to be on my own, at my own cabin, on my own property anymore. I'm like, and I told her, I said, I don't even want to talk about it. I didn't tell her for, it was a few days when we got home here, and I started looking up psychiatrists. I said, I think I lost my mind. I actually had a mental break and snapped. I talked to a few friends of mine. I had some really good friends that are lawyers. I have a couple doctor buddies I talked to, and they said, no, you're not. Okay, we all know you're crazy, but you're not crazy. You didn't snap. Something happened to you. We just, you don't know. Did you hit your head? Do you, like we start going through everything step by step from a medical perspective. And I didn't. There wasn't anything hurt on me. Not a bone in my body was, I was sore. But other than that, and having the burn and having, it was sore where I hit the ground on my back, nothing else. But there's a few clips that I found that describe what happened to me, the frozen part, perfectly. Ron Moorhead, Kevin Kine, the Bob, those 3 clips there. I'm putting a little montage together that I was going to put up on a YouTube channel to ask anyone, because I know there's others out there that this has happened to. I've heard a couple other people, Salish Sasquatch out on the West Coast there, it happened to her. Now, she hasn't told her encounter. I emailed her directly. I said, listen, I'm looking for answers. And you have mentioned multiple times in her chats under her videos, she's mentioned multiple times that she had an encounter on her property there.
That's the Browns, right, Arax?
Yes.
Yeah.
And where it happened to her, where she got frozen. And she said, it was the freakiest thing. I can't wait till it happens again. And I was like, oh shit, excuse my language, I need to talk to this lady because she wants it to happen again. And I'm like, okay, so now we did go back to the property, okay? And now I'm looking into, I'd already found the Ron Moorhead and Kevin Kine video where this has happened to them. They describe perfectly. So I'm now steered away from aliens. I've steered away from ghosts, paranormal and stuff like that, which, I've never been a huge fan of. I know the aliens are on the planet. They exist. They've been here a long time before any of us, and they'll be here probably a long after we're gone. But ghosts, I don't want to get into. I lost my mom right after this. So that was October. I'm researching. We go back to close up the cottage. I'm on high alert. I start finding, I'm looking into these videos. Now I'm looking at the Bigfoot thing, Sasquatch, and I start seeing and hearing this gifting and gifts and stuff. And that, what you were talking about earlier, getting the skull, whether you take them or not and stuff like that. I think that if they're gifts, right? I ain't gifting anything. I start getting these little feathers, blue jay feathers, where they can't get, okay? We have a hard door and then a screen door that opens and closes, right? I open the screen door and there's a blue jay feather falls down. I'm like, okay, how's that happen? It doesn't. There's no bird. There's no other feather anywhere. It's in between the 2 doors. Something opened the door, put it in there, and shut it. Then I start noticing, because I got into what I'm doing now, which is what this topic, now that it's on my radar since it happened, I'm not going to lie, I'm in. Okay, I'm like blown away by some of from some of the people that I've met in these communities, some of the people, the encounters. So in one of my businesses, we run a headhunting firm, did all the hiring in Canada for Cisco Systems and Microsoft, all their executive VPs and everything else. I had to interview these PhDs 3 a day for 10 years. So I'm a trained interviewer. You look left when I ask you a question, right? Everything, you name it. I've got you. I'm going to ask you the same question 3 different ways to find out whether you're lying or telling the truth, and, you know, get to the meat and potatoes, because that's what these companies pay me to do. They want to know what they're going to give, what they're paying for when they get this guy, and they're paying them big bucks, the engineers. So I'm looking at the interviews, the guys that are getting interviewed in every single one of these encounters, and I'm like, okay, so this guy that I'm watching is not lying. In fact, he stands more reason to lose everything for even going on this show and telling his interview. Why would he? He has absolutely zero to gain and everything to lose, much like me right now. If half my clients around the world see me sitting here, they're going to go, they're going to just listen to my encounter, and then they're going to, like people do, have an opinion. And whether you like it or not, that opinion's either, you know, if you're one of my brothers who he just clicked off, like he just says, dude, I told him, hey, listen, I'm going to probably go on this radio show, and I might have to tell that encounter that happened to me last fall, because these are the guys that get it. I don't have to worry about being judged. In fact, it might twig something with one of them that, hey, yeah, actually, I heard a story about something like that happened to this. You might want to talk to this guy or something along those lines. Him, right away off. He's like, yeah. You know, so
you're in the right place for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, I was frozen once as well, doing research out on Long Island, where, you know, there was, I mean, I caught small glimpses of a thermal hit running through the, you know, and it got in this area near me, and I was trying to, you know, get around, and I could see it was standing behind this big clump of brush and everything. And the more I was persistent in trying to see it with my thermal, you know, all of a sudden I'm standing there and I'm frozen. I can't move. And in fact, you know, it lasts maybe, I want to say 30 seconds where I just could not move. And then I just almost felt weak at the knees, and I dropped down onto my hands and knees, and I felt like this is it, you know, and I barely eked out the words, "I'm a friend." And the moment I said that, it was like whatever this invisibility, right, which was really infrasound, you know, it was just like it lifted off of me, you know. Boom. But I felt totally exhausted, like I'd just been run through a blender, you know. And I just stood up and I said, "Good night," you know, and I headed back towards the car, you know.
You had
pretty much stumbling, though. You know. But,
see, David,
you know what you were looking at, that it was there behind the bush, so you immediately knew that it must have been the Sasquatch that froze you.
Oh,
that you got too close.
Yeah, it was so close, and it just, you know, and the closer I got to that clump of brush, trying to angle in order to get a good thermal, you know, picture on that, you know, it just blasted me with infrasound. So, yeah.
David, were you tired or fatigued after this whole incident?
I don't remember being tired or fatigued. No, because I was so freaked out and just so like flabbergasted at what just happened, and trying to rationalize, did that just happen? Like, did I just get thrown across my yard? It didn't register. It registered. It all happened. I laid on the ground specifically because I was sitting there thinking, did that just happen? I'm looking at the stars. What's broken? You know, and so it was like I went through this little mental checklist and got up, but I jumped up. When I realized, like, I went through the checklist and I was like, I'm fine. Nothing hurts. I moved my arms. I moved my legs. I jumped up, like almost like a flip kick, onto my feet and took 2 steps and boom, frozen. And I'm still able to think, blink, everything, but I can't move. And then that I'm trying to move, and that freaks me out. So then I said I had it. I had it, and I did this 360 move. And
could you move your eyes?
Oh yeah.
So you move your eyes.
Yeah, I looked over. I looked over at my wife. I just couldn't move forward. I never tried. Well, I did try to. Well, when I said I've had it, because I got angry. I remember having this emotion of anger that what is going on? Like I was frustrated. And I tried harder, and I said, screw this, and I did this 360, and I was fine. It's like I broke free, like Carl said. It was like a switch. Boom, you can move now. And I went right at, like when I did that, I went right at my chair, spun around and hit my chair back, and I was sitting there. I look at the fire, I look at where I landed, and I looked up, and I was like, is that divine intervention? Like, is that my mom or my dad that passed, the year before? Like, what is that? Like, what is it? Aliens? Because I've had lots of alien activity at the lake there, right by that fire. So since then, I start getting these feathers. I've got over 40 of them. Now we got a catalog of these feathers going in between the doors, on the stumps by the fire, on each stump. I have stumps as chairs for extra guests, and they're there. Rocks, these little crystal rocks, are showing up on our walkway into the cabin. And there's no crystal rocks like that. I've never seen. I've been.
Are they blue? What color are these?
There's been blue ones. There's been white ones. It's like a dirty white brownish, white grayish. Yeah. Dirty kind of. And some of them are smooth. Some of them are just jagged, like almost like stones that you would put on patio stone or something like that as decorative stone around your garden or something like that. But these things are just one, not in every 5 feet here.
So what would be if you took all of these gifts and put them together?
Yeah, well, I got a pile of them at my front door in the cabin.
What's the predominant color? The most common color of all those gifts?
Oh, I would say the white ones, like a crystal is whitish gray. It's white with a little bit of gray mixed into it, and they're the jagged ones and stuff like that. It looks like a crystal. I've never, that's great. If I had the time, and I will have the time to take them to a geologist or someone.
Did you send Jeff a picture, or could you send Jeff?
When I get back to the cabin, I'm there next. I didn't expect to be on this show tonight, and I didn't.
Oh, you're doing
great. That's the whole idea.
I know. Well, I didn't know you guys were even doing a live thing, or I would have got my ducks in a row and been doing it all week, getting ready for it. But
we didn't know we were doing this earlier today. So.
Okay. There you go.
David, can I interject? Have you ever read Owl Moon Lab? I think Doug, was that your first book you did with anyone?
That was one of them. Yeah.
I haven't read. I haven't read anything. The two things that I have in the queue is this one that Doug sent me because I beat Jeff's butt at trivia the first time.
Yeah, it's a good book. I have that book. It's a great book.
That's the Tom Powell.
Yep.
Nice.
String.
I love Tom Powell. Yeah, he's
Tom Powell's great. Yeah, Tom Powell's great.
Great guest.
Tom Cantrell. I've been.
Check out Owl Moon Lab, David. Tobe, he talks about at the beginning of the book, they're out in the woods. There's 3 guys, I think, maybe Daryl Adams and another. I don't know if Daryl was one of them, but
yeah, Daryl was.
They run into kind of like this force field, and he says you can kind of feel it, but they couldn't
really
get one step further. I think they could step back, but it was just an invisible kind of like. And one guy actually, I think he was a tough guy cop, and he got out of there early. Like, I'm sick. I can't do this. And then they trudged on and they ran into this invisible like force field. And it sounds a lot like what you're talking about.
Wow, I will definitely get that then.
Also Daryl Adams, I talk with him regularly. He gets feathers in his truck. He'll be out doing research, and a locked truck, just a feather, right? Perfectly placed on his.
This is the other book, just so you know. I'm going to plug it too because Doug sent this one to me. This was one of your favorites, Doug. I guess you sent. It's called Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
The Secret Elephant.
I have Doug's copy of that. I got to read that.
Yeah, Gareth Patterson. Yeah, Gareth Patterson.
Yeah, Gareth wrote that.
That's the other trivia I wanted for beating Jeff's butt.
Isn't that? Did you read that book yet?
I have not yet. I haven't even
God.
I haven't had it.
You realize Gareth actually had sightings of Bigfoot-like creatures in Africa.
Yeah,
with witnesses. It's some crazy stories.
I got to read that one.
Well, yeah, I can't wait. I mean, that's supposed to be my cabin reading right there, right?
There you go.
And I haven't had I literally got back from 10 days there last night, and I'm not going to lie. Since this happened last October, I'm on high alert, right? And I'm getting these gifts or what I think are gifts, and now I started looking at these glyphs, okay? Because I have a lot of bush around me, and I'm constantly bushwhacking. Like it takes me 2 days when I get to the cottage just to get the grass done and back the bushes back to where they should be and stuff, so that I feel comfortable enough to be able to pull up a lawn chair and read, you know. But I start seeing these little sticks structured in a way where it's a stick laying on a stick and another stick at the bottom on a stump. Now these stumps that I'm talking about around the fire are little, you know, sawed off stumps that people could sit on to roast my nephews and stuff if they can roast marshmallows. And there's no way these sticks are falling in this little order, right? And so since I've gotten on this glyph thing, I've been taking pictures of them. And immediately to me, now being very new to all of this, I'm not interested in knocking on a tree. I'm not interested in going to look for these things. I have no choice. They're on my property. I got to share and I got to play nice with them. And I need to understand what the best way to go about doing that is to not piss them off. I have a family. My wife is like, now it's a hair, or she knows that this stuff's going on. There's already, you know, UFO and strange stuff. There's already now. So here's the thing.
Have you seen any orbs?
I've seen orbs. She's seen the orbs. She loves the orbs. Okay. She can't explain the orbs. I'm calling them fireflies to her because I'm trying to explain what they are, because I'm from the big bad north bush. And now I know they are orbs. They're not fireflies, but we have tons of fireflies too. So it's just, but she likes the orbs and the fairies and those kind of tales. But, you know, hearing the slaps on the side of the cabin, the taps on the window, okay, that kind of stuff.
So you're getting a lot of.
It's been going on. It all makes sense now. It's been going on I've been going there over 20 years. We've been going there. We're buying the cabin off her parents, and it was on a long-term plan because her parents are still relatively young and like to go there and everything. So we're time sharing it with them, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of that stuff makes sense now. Those noises and stuff, because when I'm at the cabin, I'm on high alert normally because it takes me on average 2 days, maybe 3 days sometimes, just to get my hands to stop shaking from the sirens and the horns outside my window here. I'm right on Bay Street, which is Wall Street in New York. That's where I live. So I throw a stone and I hit the Sky Dome right here where Blue Jays play. The Toronto Maple Leafs play literally across the street. When the crowd's outside watching on the screen, it shakes my windows in my condo here. You know, that's this cement jungle, the buzz and being in business and stuff. I get to the cottage and I'm so wound tight. The neighbor comes running over right away with a beer in his hand, like we're gonna. And I'm like, I just literally put my hand up and say, "I'll talk to you tomorrow." Like, let me get the buzz. It's so quiet.
Have you discussed any of this stuff with your neighbors or up there?
No, not yet. No, and I'm not going to.
So David Parker had a great point. You know, really don't show them fear. But my advice to you is that they understand English. Yeah. So if you want, go out and talk to them.
Yeah.
Tell them don't slap my car, you know. And a lot of times they'll respect that. I mean, just like, you know,
Carl, I've been watching. I'm a big fan of yours and your research. I'm not going to lie. You were one of the first guys I came across as well. And I've watched all your videos. I go back when I find someone I like that I know, like, you know, now that I've met Flat and Dr. Robinson, and when I come across someone that I know sincere, no BS, no nonsense, and nothing to prove, isn't out to make a name for himself, not trying to make a nickel off this game or some way.
Right.
When I come across someone like that that's doing research, I'm gonna go watch every single thing of yours to try to learn as much as I possibly can. So I have been talking to them. I've been going out and getting recordings because we have a lot of coyotes, I guess, in the area. We have a lot of deer. A big buck deer literally jumped out, scared the crap out of me. I was sitting in the front having my morning coffee, and I have my front yard, the road laneway, and I'm at the end of a peninsula, so there's only one cottage down the row here, and then there's one further to the right. And on the other side of the road is bush. This buck jumped right out of the bush at 8 in the morning, and I'm having my coffee, and I happened to be looking directly at the bush when it happened, and I spit my coffee out, and I said, honey, get the camera. So she heard me, came running out, got a little video of it. I got it up on my YouTube or Instagram and stuff. But I have been out there at night, and the coyotes start popping off, and I immediately turn my phone on, and it's not, I need to get a proper, like your tech talk tonight is perfect for me. I need a camera. I need some audio equipment because there's lots of evidence that I could get right there from, I don't have to leave my porch. I have got howls and almost like a scream that turns into a howl that sets off the coyotes. And then when I say sets off, I have a recording. I'll send it. I should have sent that to you, Jeff, because I have a recording. I was just sitting there. I went out, couldn't sleep, and a mouse trap went off. So when the mouse trap goes, my wife wakes up and says, "What's that?" I'm like, "Nothing, honey. Go to bed. I know exactly what I got to go get the mouse trap out of there before she sees it in the morning, right?" And I got up and I went out onto the front porch, and I heard this scream. And it wasn't close. It was probably half mile away, but there's water all the way around the whole side, and it travels. And that scream set off the coyotes. And I'll get that recording. It's not great, but if I had some equipment, it would have been out of this world because I couldn't believe it. When I brought it in and played it for my wife the next morning, she was just looked at me and went, They're not going to kill us. I'm like, no, honey, they're coyotes. Come on, they're not coming anywhere near the yard. Both neighbors have little dogs, right? But if I said the coyotes would kill the little dogs, we know that. I have raccoons in the attic, like a roof of the cabin that I've been battling with Metallica with for literally since May to get them out of there. I said, if the coyotes are going to kill anything, tell them. So I talking to the Sasquatch. I'm out there, and I'm like, listen, I know you're here. I've been getting your gifts, and I appreciate them. I love feathers. I love the rocks. The rocks are beautiful. I'm keeping them because inside our cabin door, we have a little table there. I've set up a little monument to them now to have all the feathers and the rocks and everything that we're collecting, right? And so I've let them know that, that we're cool. And that's when the feathers started showing up was after the very first time that I went out on the porch there, and it was probably 2 a.m. and started talking to them. That's when the feathers started showing up. So I took that as a sign that, okay, we're good. Right. And so since then I've been at the fire. Just literally, I got home last night before last, I was sitting at the fire, and I was there 10 days. I probably had 4 fires. All 4 fires between 10 p.m. and 1, okay? But usually at around 11:30, after I've been sitting there and I got the music on low, I got a portable Bluetooth speaker, right? I've even watched shows and people tell about habituation, and there's some habituators out there that have said that they like certain kinds of music, and they said, oh, well, what songs do they like? And then the guy that she was telling her encounters or stories to just happened to be a bassist. He goes, oh, all those songs are D minor. They like D minor. They like the song Yellow by Coldplay. That's D minor. I play that song all the time in my band. And then she says the next song, he goes, that's D minor too. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play some Coldplay Yellow for them. So I start hearing, so where my fire pit is, there's about 6 feet, and then it drops off 6 feet, and then it's water. There's a little ledge, like a 2-foot ledge, and then you're in the water. And it's shallow, 2 feet of water, and it goes deeper, right? I start hearing, first it was slaps. And I'm like, oh, it's a beaver. I mean, come on. We're in Canada, eh? It's got to be a beaver going by. But, you know, beavers don't slap unless they get spooked. You know, I've done all kinds of wildlife research because of this now, too. Just consequently to rule things out. So it starts with slaps. And then it's not like rocks. It's like boulders. You know when you throw a boulder into water, it makes the deepest thud sound. Boom, boom. Like when it hits, it's a huge splash, but it makes its very distinct sound. The bigger the rock, it's like the deeper the boom, 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 and it sinks. Well, I'm sitting there at the fire. We got the music going, and I'm chilling. I'm looking at the stars, you know, and everything. And I got star apps on my phone that I like to play with and everything else. But I start hearing the boom, boom, like the smash of the water splash, and then boom, boom. And I'm like, well, what that, you know, so I said beaver, no beavers. And so
I don't think beavers can throw large boulders into the water.
Not a boulder. And you know, I'm trying to think of what other animals, because I'm not going to lie, we've had otters there, but they're not there now. I put the run on them too because they dug out the bank under the tree and they built a hole like they're going to have kids and moved in. And I was just like, that ain't happening. I bricked it up. They pushed the bricks out of the way. They're like, everything's bigger up here in Canada. I'm not gonna like, these are two. It wasn't one. It was two full-grown otters that moved in under the biggest tree on our property, right at the water. They dug out underneath it and made a slide. They can go in one side and made a slide into the water on the other side under the tree. And I'm like, they're fixing to have kids. I'm looking at my neighbor and I'm giving him the gears. I'm like, what good is your dog if you can't put the run on these things? Like, come on. And he's like, my dog's not going anywhere near, they'll eat her. Look at the size of those things. You know, I didn't figure it out until my wife said, whose dog is going across the back lawn? I went, what? I look out and that's not a dog. That's how I found them. Okay. So, and then the raccoons, I'm sitting at the fire one night, not one, two raccoons. There's a tree right behind me at the fire, big pine. And I'll tell you this. Sure enough, I hear something behind me and it's dark. I turn around, I look, and I just see this black figure coming down the tree. And I'm like, oh shit, my first black bear. It took 20 years because I've seen them all kinds of black bears up north in Hajicek and Fort Francis and everywhere up there, but never down here. No. Two raccoons that look like small baby black bears. And they come at me and I got my fire poker stick. I stand up. I'm like, whoa. I hit the ground with the stick. I'm like, that's far enough. We're good. They just keep coming. I was like, holy shit. I just turned around and just walked all the way around them and ran into the cottage. I'm like, okay, fire's done. We're good. So here's the other thing. I get to the cottage this year. Closed up. We're not there through the winter. I go in as soon as I can in May. As soon as we get some nice weather, I'm there, or we're there. And the tree in our front yard at the road where the road is, and then it's bush. I have two massive pine trees, and one of them, the branches are broken all the way down. Snap, 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 from halfway up all the way down to the ground. Not everyone, but every third one is snapped off, pointing at the ground. And I'm just like, I look at the other identical tree, both full grown, mature, male, whatever, you know, pines, and it's fine. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the hell climbed the tree that weighed so much that it snapped off every branch that couldn't hold its weight? You know, which again, I should probably get a picture of that or a video of that too, because that's kind of, it's odd. Like I could understand if it could be snow, You know, I've seen lots of snow damage to trees up north and around the cottage and stuff like that. We get a lot of ice storms and damage that way. But when the other tree is identical to it and they're spaced out 30, 40 feet apart, and they're right beside, planted in the same spot, and this one only halfway up, every third or fourth branch here and there is snapped right down, pointing at the ground, like something stepped on it and broke from the weight. Kind of weird.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, I will say, you got some cool stuff when you won the trivia contest, Varix. When I won the trivia contest a few weeks ago, I didn't get anywhere near as cool as stuff from Jeff. So I'm putting in my claim for.
I got a poster coming from tonight.
You just got to keep playing. You just got to keep playing, Rusty.
You know what? I won a book.
Best internet.
I guessed what soda Doug was drinking, and I got the Paul Freeman book. That was a pricey one. Thanks, Doug.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a great book.
Yeah, it's a cool book.
That's really cool. And you signed it. I appreciate it.
Oh,
that is very cool.
Hey, I was going to say, you were talking about music and Coldplay. I remember Henry Franzoni talking about Bolero. Maurice Ravel?
Maurice Ravel, yeah.
Ravel, yeah.
Ravel, thank you.
Henry got right into it.
He said worked every time, and it's
Henry there's a video of Henry with his full drum set up out in the woods.
There's a movie called Drumming for Bigfoot. I think it's on YouTube for free.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that.
It's great.
That is incredible.
90s.
okay. I have a question I want to pose to you guys, you musicians. 40 hertz. I keep getting letters and calls from people who are experimenting with 40 hertz. Does this song, how would you know how many hertz that song is?
That would be a pretty low note. Concert A is 440 hertz,
Okay.
so obviously that would be much lower range note, but
Okay.
That's true. That's correct. You can use like an equalizer, and it will tell you what hertz each note is, and there are multiples of each other as you go up in octave. So you can there are programs where you can just sign on and play a note or a sound or whatever, and it will tell you what the hertz level is.
Yeah.
Isn't that about the lowest we can hear with our naked ear?
To 21 hertz is the lowest we can hear.
Yeah, below 20 is infrasound.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing that I never realized or heard of this hum thing until you, Doug.
Yeah.
Until you put it on my radar. And then I heard, and like I said, I've watched probably 2,000 encounter interviews at least since October. Okay. And so I'm now picking up on all these little, like each group in this community has their own little specialty of research and stuff that they're looking into it, that evolving to and this and that. So the other thing is the mechanical sound. Sibylla Irwin was the first person I heard when she was on a habituation site for 5 years. She would hear this mechanical sound, and then I watched a couple encounter interviews where they were talking about the mechanical sound. You guys mentioned it earlier tonight, the mechanical sound. Now, I've heard it described much different ways. It's always a metallic, almost like metal being dragged on cement, or heavy machinery, or I've heard it referred to 100 different ways. Sibylla and the gentleman that she was talking with they were talking actively because they both were trying to describe it, and they were having a hard time describing it. They're saying it's such a unique kind of sound, but it definitely makes you think of almost like a metal metal kind of sound. Now that I don't think is the hum at all, because I don't think it is. Just like a lot of people in chats that I talked to about me being paralyzed, the first thing they went to was, "Oh, you got infrasound. You got zapped."
You got zapped.
Like, no. Heard 1,000 zap stories and infrasound stories. Not one of them is what happened to me. So I was at the cottage here leaving yesterday, and I had I have hummingbird feeders around my cabin, and two of them are right outside the windows. Right, I like to watch them in the morning. They usually come first thing, and they're the coolest little things, right? So, and you can hear the little like a purr of their wings. I had that in my ear yesterday when we were packing up.
Where where were you, David?
I was in the cabin.
Oh, you were at the cottage.
Oh yeah, I was there. I came home last night.
Oh.
And I was in the cabin and I'm packing up and I get this little, like a fluttering of almost like hummingbird.
Yep.
Like a really, really fast purr.
Yep.
And really low, like you're talking about. A low.
Some people describe their ear almost itching a little bit.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. Exactly. That's what it felt like. My ear was going to, it was itching. And I was just like, what the heck is that? I thought like maybe something like a fly or something got in there somehow when I was sleeping or whatever. You never know. I did go swimming in the morning. So I thought maybe there's water in my ear or something got a bubble or something. But it's dead quiet. It's not like there's no sound in the cabin, no music playing, no nothing that could cause anything to reverberate or anything else. So, but this hum was there. And I immediately got this feeling like, because I immediately thought of you. I was like, that is what they're talking about. That's the hum.
We're going to do another show on that soon, and we're going to play a whole bunch more clips because we keep getting more and more audio clips from people.
The thing is when you get these clips, because it felt like it was right in my ear. Like it was tickling my ear. Like I wanted to, can you record that sound loud enough?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna play a sound that we recorded a ton of up at Snell Grove. And we have just so much of it. Hold on, let me play this really get it to it. You guys can keep talking while I look for it.
I was gonna say I've never had the metallic sound, but I did hear humming once, and that was I was up on the rim of a canyon that was incredibly dense at the bottom, right? So it wasn't like anybody was walking up there, and if they were, it was 1 a.m. and it was pitch black darkness with no light. Okay, but from down in the bottom of the canyon, I hear this humming, and to me, it almost sounded like the same hum that like a mother would do for a baby, like and it was just this low hum, but very deep, and then I could hear at least probably 2 or maybe 3 individuals transiting the canyon in the bottom going downstream. But and you could just, because it was so choked with brush, you could hear that. But that was different than obviously the infrasound. And I think you got that clip, Jeff, somewhere, but the infrasound that I kind of boosted up into the audible range, which sounded more like a didgeridoo. So
that's right. I heard that. That's right. I remember that program when you played it.
I'm gonna play
it a few times.
I'm gonna play this.
Sound exactly like a didgeridoo.
I'm gonna play this Snowgrove sound. It's just a short clip I have on my phone, but give us a listen here. Can you hear that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like an 800-pound bullfrog.
Well, yeah.
That has a didgeridoo sound to it.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. It does.
Yours is a little different and a little longer, but it has that same tone, I think.
Yeah, it's just weird because, Snell, we had so much activity up there. It was insane this last 2 times that we were up, and I'm just like trying to talk myself out of I don't want to go again. But then there's that other part that just is like, yeah, you should really go, oh no, it's too dangerous. And
it kills me, Doug.
Too much, it's like, oh, geez.
We need a Legend Meet Science 3. Come on.
You're a scaredy cat.
I am.
You can't be. They sense your fear from everything I've watched and everything. Like now, this is the thing that I have going for me, and Carl does, especially Carl, because he was in front of it and he knew it was there and it froze him. They've done it to you once. You got that now in your belt, that I'm not going to be afraid the next time at all. It's not something that's going to shock me or anything. I'm going to look at them and I'm going to be looking around, because if they're cloaking or whatever, if that's what they're doing, I'm going to be saying, hey, it's fine. We're good. I'll back off. If you needed some time to step away or something, that's fine. But I'm not scared at all. After all of the roller coaster that I strapped myself into and the ride I've been on since October when this happened, all of the encounters that I have watched and witnesses that I've listened to and filtered through and I've gone and dealt with now family members and friends that have said, there's no possible way that a friggin' 800-pound gorilla can be walking around in the woods and we wouldn't know about it with every 4K, 8K camera and drones and that. It's impossible. It's fine. I get it. You haven't done one lick of research into it or watched a video of, and so I have this challenge going right now with a couple friends and my brother, who he said, this is what I need you to do. I need you to go find me 10 videos of the best evidence you got. Now and he goes, I'm not wasting, hours and days of time going through like you have. I get it. Something happened to you and you're on this mission, but I can't help you with that basically. But I would like to at least be able to relate to you while you're doing this and stuff. So can you show me your best? Don't waste my time. You got 10 videos that I can watch that's going to convince me? And I said, sure, I could do that. And I could take it a step further, because he also was in the family business of headhunting, and he's done the interviewing and everything and knows the skills and everything. So he'll know, because I could show him, not necessarily, doesn't have to be a doctor, lawyer, scientist, or some kind of proof that way, where you're looking at the person's background and everything else that they have. He will be able to, they're salt of the earth. My father was a long haul trucker. There are certain people up north that you meet that all my uncles hunt, fish, own cabins, everything else. Okay, we're in that lifestyle. When you meet someone in these small towns that's been working in the wood mill or something, or in the mines and stuff like that, they're not lying. They have nothing to prove to anyone by coming forward. The Bigfoot wasn't on their radar. They're going to work every day hauling logs. They're in the mines. They're, salt of the earth type individuals that hunt, fish, camp. They're in the woods all the time, and then something happens to them. It changes your everything. Something that's not supposed to exist literally is standing in front of you. Your paradigm, everything you thought you knew, just goes right out the window, and you're me, going to the #1 psychiatrist in all of Canada, in Mount Sinai Hospital, going, I got a story for you. You might want to sit down and pull your pen and paper out, because you're the only person that I'm going to tell this to. And you tell me what the hell what I'm on. Maybe we should just administer the drug test right now to rule all that crap out, so you can, we can get right to the nitty gritty of what's going on, right? And then I realized that I'm not going to get the help I need from going to any doctor and talking about it. I'm going to get it from what I'm doing right now. I'm not going to lie to you. My wife is, she's the biggest supporter in the world. Put it that way.
That's awesome. Say, David, do you mind if we all ask you?
No, go ahead.
One question.
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
I wanted to ask you. You said you've seen UFOs on your property or your cabin. Is like, what's the craziest UFO thing?
Craziest UFO. The craziest was sitting at the fire, and. Okay, so we're sitting at the fire, and where we're situated on the water, we have a blanket clear. It's like watching a movie screen, the biggest 8K HD screen you could see of the stars, and there's no light pollution or anything, and it's awesome. Like, I see. The problem is now that there's just so many. Elon, I want to kill him. There's so many bloody satellites going by that
Starlink.
I can't. Yeah, it's crazy. You can see them right across 8 in a row and 10 in a row, and then it's 100 in a row. It's like, oh my God, this guy won't quit. But God bless him. For people that need it, it's great. Like, Doug at Snowgrove. He's doing this broadcast from Snowgrove on Starlink. It's crazy. So that and you want remote, like I'm remote. Where I'm from, out of Coconut, he's going 6 hours north of that by float plane. Now, and I can understand your reservation, Doug, when you say, I don't want to go. It's scary and something could happen and everything else. Now, there's a difference when if something happens to me, I can pick up the phone and call 911. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait a half hour for something to arrive. Doug picks up the phone and calls 911. First of all, you have to have a satellite phone. And then when you call, it's, we'll have a float plane there in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning.
You're strapped in.
Yeah.
You're about to have the best 12-hour night of your life, because if they're banging on the roof right now, coming through, you better figure out a way to get through the bottom of the floor to get underneath another layer.
Well, that's the scary part of it. You can't leave.
You're remote. You're done.
You're trapped.
A 4-hour float plane to the closest, and that's just going to take you to another drop-off point where you then get in a car and have to drive. 18 hours.
So I take it you saw that show we did live from Snowgrove.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
That's
nuts.
what put me on to Chris Reinhardt. He's great. And I watched a lot of his stuff. And you know how many times since October I've flip-flopped back and forth that these things exist?
Yeah.
To I'm a bloody wingnut for what's going on? You believing this? Are you believing this stuff? Are you serious? To seeing the next video of the salt of the earth guy that I know, I'm looking straight in his eyes while he's telling us what happened to him, and he's shook. And then when they say, like me tonight, this is the first time I've ever told anyone this other than my wife, my brother, and 2 friends, or and none of them are on board with it. I got no support. I have support where they already, whatever. They don't. I have support, but not support. They're not believers by any stretch. And then this is when I came up with that. You can go from a skeptic to seeing something or hearing something scream at you, or have a rock or a pebbles and acorns tossed at you, and then you become you can become a believer. But that's a huge jump from skeptic to believer. You need to actually have evidence happen to you personally to become a believer, as far as I'm concerned, unless you are someone like me that's paid to read people and say that this guy's telling the truth and I believe him 100%. To go from believer to knower is a massive leap. That's when your whole paradigm is shifted. There is not 1 ounce in your body that you don't understand that they're real. Now, here's the thing. What happened to me, I can't say that. I didn't see it. All I'm going by now is Ron Moorhead and the 5, 6 videos I'm going to put together here and put a little clip of them together back to back to back, because they describe my encounter better than I can. But that's what led me to Sasquatch, right? I can't say it was a Sasquatch. I didn't see it. As far as I'm concerned, it could have been alien.
Well, it's anecdotal, but it's based on all of the other activity, the house knocks. And the feathers and stuff like that. The rocks and the feathers, and where the feathers are showing up, like you had mentioned, Flat Rock in the truck. I have them in my pin under my windshield wiper. Found one there.
Yeah, they're placed there. Something put them there for sure.
It's not falling out of a bird's wing and landing underneath the.
Well, feathers show up in people's houses on their couch. They come home and there's a perfect.
This is the other thing, right? There's
Carl.
Now that I've gotten into it. Sorry, Flat, but of people now, they're saying, now again, people that I've watched the encounter and said they're telling the truth. In fact, I saw I can't remember right now, but I saw a video last week that she caught pictures in her house, snapped some photos, and there you could see in the photo this little fuzzy. Now it's not a Sasquatch unless it's the world's smallest Chewbacca in the world. It's this little tiny furry thing in her doorway, in her hallway, and it's a clear picture. Like, this stuff is going to be going around this week. I just saw it last week. It just came out, so I'm like, but there's multiple encounters where the people are saying that it followed them back, like you were asking earlier, if anything had followed you back, right? That they have now had things happening in their house. They're sitting on the couch things, or finding gifts and things in their house. So it's almost like, the analogy of when you're in your house, when something's been moved. If you're ADHD like me, I know if you move my cup. Like, I only use certain things and light switches and stuff. I got a little bit of OCD going on as well, where I'm just, that switch has got, all switches got to be down on my house and stuff like that. I'll know if someone's coming through the door, and if something's moved, I know about it. And
so David, Carl, I asked him a question right before I brought you on. Never let Carl answer it. What was your home experience?
So it was never anything inside the house. Okay, but I had been up in the woods, and it was after the tent incident, and it was like 2 days later. I'm in my backyard, and I'm actually and I at that time I had a 2-story house, and it had a walk deck out on top of the patio cover. So I had opened up the door, and I had I had some lounge chairs out there. I sat down, and I was just enjoying the evening out there. And as I'm sitting out in Mesa, Arizona, so I'm down in the valley, it's in the desert area, not up in the, I hear just an absolute clear whoop, and it was not, it didn't sound human. It sounded like everything I've heard out in the woods. So I ran, and I got my and it sounded like it was pretty close, and I went and grabbed my thermal, and I came back out on the walk deck, and I scanned the entire area around there, and there wasn't a person in sight. I saw a couple of rabbits on thermal, but there was absolutely nothing out there, and I could see because the housing development was still being worked on, and I could see probably a good 1,000 feet out, and there was nothing out there. But it was close enough that I was sure it was within that range. But hey, yeah, that was real strange.
Quick. Last time I was on, we talked about the whoops, because I had this similar story. I got a whoop, same exact sound, whoop. I was cutting off some friends to hit a trail, and it was almost like hey, heads up, there's a guy over here. And Doug, you had Jim Depisoto on, and you told him he needed to find an animal that made a whoop sound. We gave him 2 weeks, so call him up and see what.
I will. I haven't followed up on that.
Yeah.
I could tell you, like, I've spent a lot of time in the woods, and 5 different cabins now, cottages, from here all the way to Atikokan, because my brother lived 10 years in Sudbury, which is a 7-hour drive straight north of Toronto, and I used to go up there fishing every weekend, and there'd be no one; it'd just be me. And I've never heard any animal in the woods make a whoop sound like that ever. Not like that, and not that loud. And I could tell you confidently, even though I told you how many times I've shifted from being okay, I'm saying they're real, it's it's cool, to you're crazy. Like this, there's no possible way, because think about it, it just can't, to back to the next day, watch one of these videos and look and say, yeah, there's 100%. This person has seen them with their own 2 eyes. It's not a blob squatch or whatever you call them. It's not. They've seen it with their own 2 eyes, and they are. There's no doubt about it that they're real. You get into the supernatural stuff and how it's possible, and the cloaking, and then I understand that it's very hard for people to wrap their heads around that they're not a flesh and blood animal running around and everything else. Well, I think that's next to impossible and gone out the window. And I'll refer to Ron Moorhead, who was a starch flesh and blood Neanderthal whatever hybrid, to writing books about quantum physics, because what he witnessed and what I witnessed, if it indeed was a Sasquatch, they can do things that are beyond our comprehension. I'm not saying they're beyond our abilities, because these orbs that are floating around, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I caught on to someone was doing remote viewing, and I'm like, I wonder if they could remote view and see these Sasquatch in their natural habitat in the woods or whatever, with the kids in the lake and stuff like that, remote viewing. Well, how do we know that Sasquatch can't remote view, and that's the orbs we're seeing?
David, I was telling Doug last time, we all start off as turds and tracks, right? We all start off.
Yeah.
Brought in turds and tracks.
Yep. The new name of the new podcast.
There you go. But yeah, you see enough research, and it just gets weirder and weirder. And
I think they can do a lot more than just.
Oh yeah, I believe that as well.
Here, because I looked at the Barb Shoop video, and I see what she caught on camera was what looked like was in the Predator movie. In fact, they had the graphics director of graphics on the set dissect her video, and he said that there's no way that can be faked and everything else. However, she said what she saw was a physical black little Sasquatch kid, juvenile, jump down and run. But what showed up on the camera was blurred out like like the Predator movie, or how I like to refer to it is when it's 90 degrees out, like the last, I don't know, month and a half up here every day. You look at the highway and you get that little haze off the top of the highway. It's blurry. That's what I feel that they can do. I think that they could be sitting like, no, here's the thing. I'm not convinced that now, because I've looked into a little more research on what the human eye can digest and our perception of vision of what is actually going on around us, and compared to other animals on the planet, what they can see in different colors and stuff like that. And it's absolutely possible that these guys can manipulate our perception of what we see when we look at them, and they could just raise their vibration and frequency to a level that they can absolutely disappear.
Here's a weird sidetrack. I was watching Barb's channel a year or two ago, and she got a report. She still works, I think, in the store in Greenwater, but a guy came down. He was driving around some old logging roads in his truck. Just I don't know if he's just shooting guns, just hanging out, and he saw a tree following his truck, and he's going at a decent clip, 15 miles an hour. And it looks like a pine tree about 8 feet high, just in the middle of the logging room following him. And he's going, what the hell? And after a while, it freaked him out so bad, he started hauling ass, and it kept up. And then it just kind of went off into a ditch, and it was gone. And I don't know what to make of that.
No, there's just too many things like that. There's weird, like some weird, whacked out stuff that's happened to some very prominent people. I don't want to get too crazy, but
too late.
You asked me about the alien thing. I'm sitting there. We can see these things zipping, zip, 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 and just no rhyme nor reason to their movements. And then another one shows up, and then another one shows up, and then they start playing like they're playing up there. And then they form into one, and then boom, into three again, and I was sitting there. I'll tell you this. You asked for it. It's the weirdest thing.
Yes.
Well, we're watching these things, okay, and then boom, they're all gone. And I had like 4 buddies at the cabin, and we're sitting there, and I said, check this out. I see the thing go across. They all look. Now we're all standing on the bank, watching these things dance, and then poof, gone. And they're like, oh, hey, they're having a couple beers. They're like, oh my God, what a show. That was awesome. What, how are you going to, yeah, you're right. Aliens don't exist. Okay. What the heck was that? You going to tell me the U.S. has got that, right? For, their Air Force. And it wasn't even 2 hours goes by, and we're, listening to tunes, yucking it up. And we heard the biggest splash, like a plane hit the water, right, not too 200 yards, maybe 300 yards from the bank in the bay, out in our bay. Boom. Now I'm going to call 911. A plane just crashed literally in the water. And these guys are all like we're all looking at each other going, what the heck was that? You know, I don't know. We go down to the dock, looking out there, and nothing. And the neighbors came down to their dock. I could see them down the way, come down to their dock. Everyone heard it around the bay. And nothing. You know, so basically we were like, what do we do, right? I said, well, we can call 911. I said, but what are they gonna do? Send someone out here to stand on the dock and look at what we're looking at right now? There's nothing there. Well, these guys are already 3 deep, and they're like, yeah, no, let's go back to the fire. You know, come on, let's turn the music up and let's just get back to it and stuff like that. It was weird, you know, that's crazy. I don't know what that could have been. Well, it wasn't even an hour. There was a helicopter right over the water and everything. I said, all of the neighbors called 911. I'm the idiot that didn't. I should, you know, but they all called, and you know, all from I guess that was probably like maybe around 2 a.m. But at 6 a.m, there were still helicopters out there over the bay combing. There was a boat out there, the what's it called, the water rescue boats, you know. Anyway, they were out there, but nothing found, nothing reported, no one missing, no planes down, nothing in the news, nothing. You tell me what that was. Like, I don't know what it was. I didn't see it, but
that's cool, man. Wow.
It was the most, like I told you, like huge boulders being thrown in the water beside me. Well, every night last week that I had a fire while I was sitting there, those boulders were being thrown, and then there was like, I can't see because there's a wall of bush. There's a fireplace where I'm sitting, but I have trees between me and the water. It's just literally a wall of bush, and it's a 6-foot drop off, and then a 2-foot, and then you're in the water. So that wall of trees, they're pine trees. I'm not, my neighbors, everyone I see up there mows down every tree in the place. They got nothing on their property. They got no trees. They're the biggest anti-tree huggers you could ever meet are my neighbors. This is the thing. When you mentioned earlier about talking to the neighbors, have you ever asked them? They're hunters. They do any kind of hunting you can think of. Duck hunting, duck season, we're hunting duck. If it's deer season, we're hunting deer. If it's bear, we're going bow hunting. Boys, let's go. That's the kind of guys they are, right? And I don't knock that out. So my family heritage too. But we, you know, they hunt moose and stuff to fill their freezers to feed their families. These guys are doing it for sport. But if they saw something weird, like a Sasquatch, an 800-pound animal standing across from their cabin or cottage across that road in the bush there, and they saw that, there's little doubt in my mind the first thing they're doing is reaching for their gun. That's what they're going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is walk out and say, hey, just let me know how close I can get before you freeze me again.
David, excuse me, how far did they throw you again? Was it 10 foot? Did you measure?
10 feet.
You just like, can
Flew.
you try to describe the force that you were thrown at?
Here's
a
the
little
thing.
bit better, a little bit.
It was, yeah, I can, because I've thought about it a little. It was like, my dad was a big guy. I have 2 brothers, and we'd roughhouse all the time, beating the crap out of each other when we were kids and all grown up. And if he grabbed me by the back of the neck, or one of my uncles and stuff that grabbed you, you know, like with a firm, and big guys, you know, 240, 250, 6'2", 6'4" guys, when they grab you, you feel it. You got no choice. If you're lighter, if you weigh 150, 60, 70 pounds, and I grab you and go like this and throw you, you're moving. Can't stop it. It's physics.
Yeah.
This thing, it was almost like it just grabbed me square in the back, and just went like flicked. Not even a grab and pull, and I felt going like getting thrown. It was just like a boom flick, and I flew.
Do you think you left the ground?
Oh, I left the ground. I did a 360 in the air and landed on my back. I'm telling you, Doug, man, I was disoriented from the spin.
And let me guess, your wife looked away just for that 1 second.
She's sitting in the living room of the cabin watching her shows inside. Yeah, I'm just out there sitting there at the fire. She doesn't.
So you were alone.
Always. She doesn't like coming out there. She does her thing. I'm out there looking at the stars. This, that. She'll come out and sit at the fire for 20 minutes, half hour.
I gotcha.
She'll look at the stars or whatever. But she goes in and I'm like, I'm not. It's not bedtime for me at 9 o'clock. Come on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sit there and soak it in.
Just talk to them and try to set parameters as far as your habituation in that area. So
I think, like, knock on wood, I think that we're in a good place. Like I've been getting now since I did talk to them. I didn't talk to them until I got there this year. This happened in October, and we left the next morning, and I didn't go back. And then we were having serious conversations about, my wife understood how shook I was. Like, I don't think you understand what I was going to see dialing psychiatrists within that week.
Well, okay, so it happens. Did you go run inside into the cottage?
No, I sat there at the fire. I sat there for
afterwards.
Yeah, for at least an hour.
Oh,
in shock, just complete and utter, running through my mind, looking down at the fire. Because the last thing I remembered was the fire was falling down. It was still raging. I just wanted to throw another log on the fire. Let's get real. I got lots of wood to burn. But I wanted him to put another, and I didn't notice the rock right there beside the fire. And I just tripped and I just went to do a header right into the fire. I got my arm on the cement block. But I was going in, like straight in.
So that's when you were grabbed.
Yeah. And flipped
right at that exact. Well, okay, I heard all this once, but I want to make sure the audience absolutely knows what happened.
Well, listen,
so you think
you're the first people to hear it, whoever's watching in this audience.
So you may have been really saved from serious injury.
I was 100% saved. And
okay.
I didn't.
So
here's the thing, Doug.
Yeah, that's
you
not
bring up
scary.
You're so smart. No, because here's the thing, right? It happened so quick. It happened so fast. There wasn't time to be scared or anything else. It was just shock. But once I realized, like I landed. I did a 360 in the air and landed flat on my back on this bush that had a little bit of a spring to it because it's got long, sloping, like fern branches, but thick fern. I don't know what kind it is. I'll get a picture of it. In fact, I'm going to take a video of all of this so I have it documented. But I landed on it, so it broke my fall. But I immediately, what went through my head is am I dead? Because I'm looking straight at the sky and I can see the stars and everything.
Did you have the wind, David? Did you have the wind?
No, and that's what I was waiting for. Is that for sure? Because I've had my wind knocked out of me more times than I could count.
It's not fun.
No, it sucks. But so no, that never happened. And the other thing that's happened that's happened before is it's like if you get kicked in the junk and you don't feel it right away. But then you're like, oh boy, like if you get a stick when you're playing hockey or something, you get the stick, and it's like, oh, is that going to hurt? And then it's like, oh yeah, that okay, right? That was what I was waiting for. When I landed, I was waiting for that. I'm like, when's the pain going to set in? Because everything's got to be broken. I just did a 360 in the air.
Okay, well let's
across the yard.
All right, just hang on now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you flew far enough to where you actually thought that you would have broken bones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought I was dead first. When I realized I wasn't dead, I was like, okay, what's broken? And when's the pain going to hit me?
Yes.
And then I went through like this. I just kind of, and I'm looking at the sky straight up, and I'm still going through like this, moving, like checking my hands, arms, legs, feet like this.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, crap, I'm good to go. And I friggin' bounced up onto my feet. and I took like 2 steps towards the fire and frozen. Maybe it was 1 step. It felt like 2 steps towards the fire, but it could have been 1. It happened so quick, and then I was frozen. And then I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I can't move, and I can't move. And I start trying harder and harder because I'm like, what is going on? And I said, it almost felt like a force field, like it's not like I'm paralyzed because I could blink, think, move my eyes and head. I've heard in these other videos of this exact same thing being described better than I'm doing it right now, but by Ron Moorhead and very notable people, researchers, reputable researchers, that the exact same thing has happened to them, that they could move backwards. They were able to move backwards, but they just couldn't go any further forwards.
How about you?
And Carl mentioned the same thing. He couldn't go any further forwards. And then when he managed to be able to say, I'm your friend, boom, you were released.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And it was
there was nobody in front of me for, until about 20 feet to where the brush was, where it was behind, but it was, yeah.
Well, when I discovered that is this, what happened to me, what it was, or what I now believe it to firmly believe it to be, because I've heard it described better than I'm doing, like I said right now, by people in this field, and specifically related to hardcore researchers that are in and looking specifically for Sasquatch and getting close to them. And that's when it happens. You get you get too close to a Sasquatch and its kids, a mother and its kids, you're getting frozen. If you get too close, you're getting frozen. The first thing you're going to get is a rock thrown at you, and that's a sign that you're too close. I've seen, here's the other thing, on the roof, pine cones and acorns all the time, hitting the roof of the cottage at 4 a.m, 3 a.m, the taps on the windows.
David,
there was slaps. Yeah.
Can I ask, and Carl too?
Yeah.
Did you feel anything like a warmth or like just a pressure?
See, and that's hard for me.
Yeah,
better for you to describe, Carl, because you said that.
For me, it was just I couldn't move at all. I was and the only thing I could describe is that it felt like my body was disrupted. I don't know, but I couldn't move. It was just frozen in position. I couldn't move back, forward, nothing. And I stood there, and then I started just getting weak. The knees started giving out, and then I started crumbling, until I was on my hands and knees, and then I just barely eked out, I'm a friend. And the moment I said that, it was like, boom.
Wow. Okay.
And then it's like a switch.
It was like a switch.
When I did end up telling my wife when we got home, it was just so hard for me to believe that any of this happened. Okay. It just wasn't, it's just not possible. Okay. I didn't get thrown. Something didn't save me, first of all, from the fire. And I didn't put it together. My wife did. After I had told her the story, and she was like, whew, so we're selling. And I said, well, no, honey, we're not selling. And she said, well, we can't live there. And I said, yes, we can. I said, we don't know what it is. And now at this point, I had no idea about this happening in Bigfoot and anything. Okay. I thought firmly it was probably aliens or an angel or some kind of divine intervention. My past father or something saved me from the fire for sure. She said after I told her the whole thing, and then when I saw the first, I came across the first transcript that had paralyzed in it, and then I went and watched it, and it was probably Ron Moorhead that said that he got paralyzed and frozen, couldn't move. He was talking to the guy behind him. He goes, "Yep, I can't move forward either." And they describe it perfectly. I sent these clips to Jeff. Jeff, you should have played them, but I don't know what the copyrights are, or if you can play other people's.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can play those or not, but we'll definitely watch them
because they're very cool. They're very cool short clips, right? I'm only clipping the part that it pertains to what happened to me because that's what I wanted. And Ron Moorhead even contacted some kind of scientific doctor forensics or scientific doctor to do with quantum energy, because once my wife described, or when she heard me tell her, and then she was like, whew, got over that. Then she heard me tell it to my brother and have him hang up on me. And then I told my best friend, and he laughed and said, "Ross, you're out of your tree this time." Click, and hung up. Right? It's like, okay, but she had heard the story now a couple times, and that's when he hung up on me and said, "You're out of your tree." Then my wife said, the way you described it, she said, let's think about this logically. Something saved you from burning your face off at the very least. Like you would have fell full-fledged into it. And my arm was all burnt up, right? She said, so there's that. But when you say that you laid there still for you don't know how long, and that's the thing, Doug, I don't know how long I was looking at the stars. I'm telling you from my perspective what I did when I landed. I remember looking at the stars. I remember going through the checklist of what's broken, waiting for the feeling of something to be hurt. Now, I can't definitively tell you that I wasn't laying there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. How long was I there? Because my wife had gone to bed. She's not coming out. She didn't see it. I ain't. Okay. And so I don't know how long I was there. There could be time loss there.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Well,
There's another piece to this that I've left out of this, okay? Which is it just gets crazier and crazier. Anyway.
Well, what is it? Don't.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do is get some scientific proof for evidence of something. Okay. So, but let me finish this. My wife says, you were laying there. You don't know how long. The thing or whatever saved you or saved you from burning your face off in the fire, falling into the fire and through you. Now you're laying there. Whatever that was, whether it's alien, Sasquatch, whatever, probably thought you were dead because you're laying there staring straight up and you don't know how long you were looking at the stars where you're going through your little checklist and everything else, or even, and you don't know how long you were there. It or whatever saved you probably thought it killed you from throwing you, from saving you, because you did a 360 in the air and you landed on your back 10 feet across the yard in a bush. Like, yeah, you're dead. So it comes over to take a closer look at, and you then finish your checklist or come to do your thing and jump up on your feet and immediately start walking towards the fire. Of course, if it was anything that didn't want you to see it or get closer, or once you're frozen now. And that's what it felt like. I don't want to say that I felt when I was frozen. It's the weirdest feeling ever. It's like an energy. It's like a buzzing energy. Like you just it feels almost like you would envision a force field holding you in place or something, like a type of energy around you. That's the only thing I can say that after thinking about it days later, I was like, there was that kind of feeling because I got angry that I couldn't move forward. I was like, what the hell is this now? And I got angry, and I, remember trying, and then spinning because I was angry. I was like, you can't hold me. That's what went through my head is, you can't hold me here. You can't hold me here. And I did this 360 as fast as I could to spin. And as soon as I did that, I was free and I went straight, it was 5 steps to the chair, sat there and went, what the hell just happened? I was in shock. I didn't even feel that my arm was burned. I didn't even know that until I got inside and got in bed. It wasn't.
Is it possible? It just reminded me, and the comment somebody had mentioned, Dennis mentioned it. It just sounds like Travis when he got whacked by that beam and got thrown back. But did you at any point feel any pressure on your arm or where it grabbed you by the coat, or from nowhere?
No, it didn't.
Like your whole body just got weightless.
Yeah, well, flung faster. Like
I know it's hard for us.
We're talking grabbed by your back and I had it was October in Canada up here. So I had a thick, I had the t-shirt and then a thick fleece and then a jacket over that sitting at the fire, and it grabbed through all of that, I guess, and just went boom, like a beanbag. Like I weighed nothing. It was just that fast. And I flew.
Okay. Think about
46 foot.
Think about the strength it took to do that.
It's incredible.
Right.
It's incredible.
But let me relate a story that I experienced personally with my daughter and other people in the cabin. We were the headboard was up against a wall right by windows and a porch, and I had heard something walk up on the porch and play with the recycling bins and walk, bipedally down the steps, play with Joe's truck, the Velcro on the tonneau cover, come back up, play with the recycling bins, and it kept doing this back and forth. And I'm laying there, of course, I'm fraidy cat. I got my young daughter sleeping next to me, and I'm like, do I want to rip the duct tape off the blanket covering the window and scare this thing? Because it was literally just like 1 foot from the window.
You would have.
Yeah, I was scared to do that, right?
Well, yeah.
Of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I don't want to upset it and then have it kill my daughter.
You can't be.
So, okay. So, but here's where it gets supernatural or weird. I still cannot explain it. This is not Snow Grove. This is a different cabin near the Boundary Waters, off the grid, 11 miles down a little logging trail to get to the cabin. And there were blueberry bushes all around the cabin too. Okay. Yep. But all of a sudden it was kaboom on the side wall. It felt like a semi truck hit the wall. The bed moved a foot away from the wall, flew away from the wall. And my daughter at that point woke up and said the F word.
How old was she at that point?
She was like 9.
Yeah.
I'd never heard her swear.
Yeah.
She was like, what the, you know what I mean? And I had never experienced anything that powerful. It was like a semi hit that wall. And to this day, I wrestle with that. It's impossible.
But it happened because your daughter remembers it.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I've heard of stuff where, like there was a tornado coming. I believe this was a person in North Carolina, but there was a tornado and there were habituators and Sasquatch ran in there and just slapped their house like that, and he got up and was like, what the heck was that? And then looked out and saw that there was a tornado coming and they got down in their basement,
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that where it's the same
Here's the thing.
Save you,
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe that. Now, whether it's Sasquatch doing it or something else, but something slapped the cabin to wake them up, and there's a tornado coming and saved them. Something did. And, I watch all the channels now, and I've been in all the communities in the Bigfoot community here. And, so they're going to call me.
You've never come forward. You've never told.
I've never talked to anyone. I told you. My brother's
just
hung up on me. My friends are hung up on me. My wife is like, baby, I love you, but come on, really? If they're real, they're real. But when this happened, she took it a lot more serious, and it was, we were having conversations about selling the property, and I said no, because I was kind of, maybe I don't want to live, like maybe we don't want to retire there. Maybe we can find a different cabin. I got lots of places up north here to go.
Well, did you have any interest in the Bigfoot mystery before?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I liked your show on TV there.
Monster Quest.
And I don't mind. Of course, I'm Godzilla, King Kong. I grew up with, all of the.
But you weren't obsessed with.
Not at all. Not at all. It wasn't on my radar. Other than when I was a kid. 4 or 5 years old, we were at my grandparents' had the fly-in fishing place on Rainy Lake. We were told there were black bears playing with their mom on the beach.
Right.
They weren't black bears.
Right.
Okay. Black bears don't sit in the sand and go running into the water and then out, and the mom's sitting over on the side over there.
Yeah.
We're not allowed out of the cabin and stuff, but they're black. They had that right.
Yeah.
And I believed it. I forgot all about that. I forgot all about it.
David, you've never actually seen a Bigfoot, right?
No.
No, and I haven't either. But with all my encounters, we just assume it's Bigfoot, but we have no damn idea what the hell is doing this shit. Oh, sorry.
Flat, you just hit it on the head, because like literally,
it sounds like activity that's related to this thing. But
I'm getting all the boxes checked now. Yeah, but I'm getting the howls, the screams, them setting off the coyotes, feathers between the door, rocks on my windshield.
Like it's kind of all related, the UFOs and the
well, they very well all could be, and
it could be.
I would be very well. Think about it logically, okay? We've been here in just the last 100 years. When was Roswell? 47 or whatever, and that's when we're going to make contact and discovered aliens and stuff. And then some treaty and everything else with one of the presidents went on, and it hasn't worked out so well for us because the U.S. has done and Russia and China. It's all about arms race, war. You got to build a bigger missile and everything else. Well, aliens aren't our friends anymore, because we can't play nice with ourselves on this planet. Here's the thing. If the Sasquatch are real, then they've been on this planet a hell of a lot longer than us.
Agreed.
Humans, okay? And even if they come from one of the first tribes, which I've tracked down now through these glyphs and stuff, that they're trying to point them to caves, that they're speaking dialects from caves over in Serbia and places of the very first upright walking. They're not, I guess they're humans, but they're not speaking.
That's cool.
But they're writing with glyphs, and it's a basic language. And then they say, I've looked at some of these researchers that I've been following now that are trying to put these glyphs together, because that's what went through my mind is if these things are real, now I'm moving to the next level. I'm not knocking on trees. I'm not whooping in the middle of the forest, and I ain't going to look for them. But they're leaving little messages for me on stumps that I can't read. So if I want to communicate with them, we need to write to each other. And clearly they have a language that they can use these little sticks that mean something in a certain way to them. I need to figure out what that writing says in English to me. And we're going to figure that out.
On the subject of language, I've actually started making a list of reports that sound like native language, like First Nations, just the tone and the structure. And I've got probably 20 different little sayings. One that comes to mind, I was in Greenwater again. I got caught on logging land, and I was just looking for prints and just dinking around, and security caught me. This guy, he's like, you got to come out here. You're not supposed to be on the property. And I came out, and I'm like, hey, man, first day I had a GoPro too, so I got it all on video. But I go, he was half Yakima, half Muckleshoot native guy, and nice guy, but he was nervous because he didn't know me from Adam. And I go, hey, man, I'm just looking for Sasquatch prints, and he lit up like, oh, really? I'm like, oh, here we go. We're best friends now.
No secret to them.
But he told me he's in a watershed back there where no one can go. It's off limits. He's making his rounds. Stops to pee. He's got a husky, and his husky starts looking around, and he's just peeing, and he hears, and he does this. He stops. He goes, wow, ooh, ooh, wow, and he had to remember it exactly, and I have it on video, and that blew my mind. I said, that sounds fucking native, right? Like whatever.
Yeah.
But it scared him so bad. He got out his 9, and he's like, what the hell? And he didn't see anything, but he zipped out of there.
And that's what I was getting at these are not dumb animals. Okay. They're not by any stretch of the imagination. If they've been on the planet 100,000 years longer than any of us, any human, or 1,000,000 years longer, then they made contact with aliens a long time ago, and they didn't have weapons of mass destruction and all kinds of chaos to scare the aliens away. They were like, hey, they've probably been working together for hundreds of thousands of years. Okay,
Interesting.
hundreds of thousands of years.
But,
Why would
you
the
know,
aliens
when
be
people,
scared of them? And the aliens probably got, if they're been coming, and if what they're saying is true, and there are as many alien races that have been on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions, and ones that are living and have been living on the planet before we even evolved, or before they started tampering with our genetics to even get us to where we are now, which I have a hard time with, which is in the last 100 years, we went from putting a little wood wheel together to now we can fly cars in the air. Like, come on. In less than 100 years, I watched my parents' minds blowing from getting a black and white TV and fiddling with to get the signal to looking at a screen on your phone.
On the cuff, for sure.
You know, like, come on. That's just been in 100 years. Come on, all that. So if Bigfoot's been hanging out with aliens for, I don't know who can say how long.
Right. Well, the thing I've always said was, we during the Pleistocene era, right, we had megafauna, right? And it's like, and who's to say we didn't have mega humanoids, right? So
sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, yes, Dennis. Yes.
It takes a lot to make a fossil.
Yeah, and it would be really unlikely that. Yeah, it just exactly.
And the aliens. So this has been the buzzword that you guys have all been seeing probably in the last 6 months in the news and stuff, is that they walk among us. That they're trying to prove that they've been walking among us. Okay.
That's and have Misfits albums from the 80s. It's called They Walk Among Us.
Listen, I'm going to tell you flat, we get along really well for a reason. And I'll tell you, it's because the more I learn, the less I want to know. And I just want to go to my cabin, have my little fire, and I just want to look at the stars, put the rod in the water. I want to chop some wood, and I want to get back to what people were doing in the 20s, okay, in the 1800s. Yeah, I'm trying to go backwards. I don't want to know anymore, because the more I get to know what has been going on or could be going on all around us, because the fact we only use a sixth of our brain. It's not a tenth of your brain. Humans are getting dumber.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think everyone here, everyone in chat, all you guys, we're just curious as hell, and that's why we're here, right?
Well, I'll leave you with a couple things. One of my mentors was again, I've had some pretty crazy stuff go on in my life, like similar to what we've been talking about, but not. And here's something that it seems like in my lifetime, things have just fallen. They just come to me. It just happens to you. Like, I'm known as that guy that you got a problem, you better go talk to Dave. Like, go talk to Verax. He'll fix whatever your issue is. And it doesn't matter, because I've dealt with a lot of stuff. So one of my mentors, one of our businesses we have downtown here in the skyscraper is a couple floors and we rent office space and meeting rooms and stuff like that. Well, one of the guys that rents the office just so happens to be the Paul Hellyer in Canada was the Secretary of Defense. So to our Prime Minister. So he's like your number two guy to Trump, that Trump says, annihilate these guys, and he makes that happen. That's the guy you go to talk to. Well, Paul Hellyer, obviously Canada, I know we're kind of a joke around the world, but still we're invited to all of the big events when, the 4-star, 5-star generals get together to talk about events that can affect the planet and, what these guys are doing in this part of the world and stuff. Our guys are invited. Our Secretary of Defense comes down. Well, he sat through meeting after meetings and years, 30 years he was in Parliament at different levels in security. You don't get a higher security clearance, put it that way. He was privy to, and now all you have to do is this in YouTube, and I encourage you to do it if you're into UFOs or Sasquatch or any of this stuff. Paul, last name Hellyer, Hellyer, okay? And it'll come up, Secretary of Defense. He's written no less than 14 books, I believe. 14 books all about finance, okay, and stock markets and the economy and all this stuff. In one of those books, which I'll look up, I have them all on my shelf here, there's a paragraph where he talks about UFOs, what he was privy to. But if you go on YouTube, and I'll find this stuff, I can find it. I have it saved somewhere, where he has been interviewed, and he actually got ridiculed. His career and everything, he was already done. So once he retired, he started writing books. And when he was 65-ish, he said, you know what? Screw it. The people need to know. I'm done. Now, at this point, he's now been renting an office from me across the street here in a skyscraper.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'm seeing him every day. Good morning, Mr. Hellier. I had to sell him the office when he came to look at the floor and everything else. And, you know, and I get to know his secretary. He was there 25 years with me, Paul, Doug. Okay.
Wow.
So I got me and Paul. Once he wasn't interesting to me, the finance stuff and everything. I'm on Bay Street, which is your Wall Street, New York. It doesn't, you know, as soon as I heard UFO, I was like, huh? And they're like, oh shit, you wouldn't believe what Paul Hellier said yesterday.
Well, he dumped everything.
The next thing you know, he's on the circuit, and he went to a couple conferences and he spoke on UFOs and not UFOs, aliens specifically, and how many different races that he got privy to through your 5-star generals, that he was invited down there, and we got a problem. These things are flying around in our airspace, and it's you know, we can't do anything. We can't. Now this is back in the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, he was like the first whistleblower of official government.
As soon as he did his first talk on it, he got just completely annihilated. Everyone ridiculed him, and everyone. It was terrible to see, but he didn't. Not everyone, because the community at large and the people and citizens at large and anyone that would watch Mork and Mindy was like, you're a hero. Like, let's get real.
That's my favorite show. And
aliens in any way went, hell yeah, because here's what he was the first individual that
Nanu.
The first individual that was in Parliament privy to that is not, you could no way, shape, form paint him as being some whack job. He's got 14 books on bestsellers lists for finance and running economies and everything else. You know, 60 year or 50. It's ridiculous how long he was in Parliament.
Do you know what years he was in Parliament?
From the 50s to the 90s.
So he knew all about that whole Shag Harbor incident.
He knew everything. He said they're landing in Muskoka. They're landing in northern Canada. They have a full base in Antarctica. That they are in every single ocean. He not only blew the whistle, he grabbed a megaphone and went, there's this race, this race, this race, this race, and those are only the ones that we're aware of that have been visiting our planet for who knows how long. All he could say was as long as we've known that they exist. They've been on our planet. Now, you know, but here we are. That's in the 90s. Like, you know, for me, that feels like last week, but here we are still with let's have some debates down in Congress about this. And, come on, man. Like, we're not, you can't, you just my mind.
Have you ever gotten together with him and just had a beer?
Yes, every chance I could, and he was there for 20 years. Doug.
Is he
amazing?
He
didn't drink. He didn't drink, and
is
I don't.
Is he still
drink.
around, or is he passed?
No, he just passed.
That's what I thought.
A few years ago. It's been a few years. I say just, but it's probably 2010.
Wow.
2005 or 10 he passed, and he lived across, literally I can look in his window at his condo right across the street, and my building's right across the street the other way, right? So, and it's a community. I'm in the harborfront in Toronto, and it's a community, right? So you get to know all of these kind of people, plus my mom. I moved my mom into a condo into his building, so she got to know him, and he kind of took a liking to her, so he'd tell her stories, and she'd just, my mom was crazy about anything she could find out, right? She'd ask.
All right. We got to wrap it up, but here's my proposal. Verax. We're going to do a Verax super show.
Okay.
We're going to get flat Rockland back. Get
All right.
Carl back. We're going to get Tobe.
Yeah.
We'll get Tobe on.
Is it Tobe Johnson? Is that who
Tobe
you're talking about?
Johnson.
Oh, hell yeah. I just met him the other day for the first
So
time.
we'll get Tobe on.
Yeah.
Tobe's a friend. We'll get Toby on.
All right.
Or Tobe, whatever you want to say his damn name. But we'll get Tobe on. And then we'll have this crazy.
You got to have Carl. Carl, I didn't know that you had
Carl,
the same
Carl
experience as me. That blows my mind. I probably do. I just have probably had forgotten because there's so much research that you've done that I've said from the beginning. There's certain researchers that go about researching that I'm very much attracted to, and then there's others that I'm not, obviously. And the ones that I'm attracted to are taking a scientific look at it from a scientific. I'm a data scientist, Doug. I don't know if you know that or not.
No, I don't.
Yeah, we have big data companies. Okay, we have
That's amazing.
data centers and hiring engineers and everything else. Like I said.
Well, will you do me a favor? Give Jeff all of your phone numbers. I don't think we have your phone number. Do we, Flat? I don't think so.
I'm a little worried that the cat's out of the bag now. Like I let the cat out of the bag with you now, but here's the thing. Like I don't think
anybody will.
For me, what happened to me, that's what attracted me to this.
I don't think it would affect your business at all. That's my opinion. But
personally, I don't. At this point, I am retired. I mean, let's face it. But I'm not worried about it. But
I worried too at one point, and then at some point, I was like, it didn't affect me at all.
You know what was worse for me? Why I switched? Because when I started researching, when this happened, I went by my real name, and it was my full real name on my YouTube. It was what I was going by, and it wasn't until I wrote a comment, because you have to understand my background in forensic interview, having the skills that I bring to the table, working for, you guys have 3-letter agencies. Well, up here we have 4-letter agencies, and I've done a lot of work for those agencies. And when you work for those kind of agencies, okay, this is why I changed it, Doug, is, and my wife asked me about this. The governments know. Okay, this ain't a secret. I got news for you. It's not a secret to them at all. Your forestry service knew Bluff Creek, what went on down there with Patty and everything after that film ended and everything, and hiring the Canadian with the Canadian tracking dog and everything else. Well, I tracked down the pilot that flew them down to Bluff Creek. That he's alive and he's in BC right now, and I have him in a chat room on YouTube. I found him. He made a comment. Wow. He made a comment, and he commented, said something specifically about flying John Green and Renee DeHinden down there. Yep. And I said, oh, really? And then I went down a couple more comments, and then I sent him a message, and he responded, and I said, did you fly the plane with them on it? He said, twice, both times. I said, so you're the guy down there in the film that I'm watching? He said, that's me with the gun. And I said, wow. Okay. I said, so you plan on taking this to your deathbed with you, do you? You're not, like, really, what do you got to lose now that it's been 50 years? If they shot a Bigfoot down there, killed Patty or killed the others that they say that they did, the youngin and stuff like that MK Davis has made video after video about, if any of that is true, you were there. Now, did it happen or not? Like, can we have a talk? Is what I said to him. I'm being very frank and blunt now. I wasn't like that in tone. You can't be like that in a message to him, right? But what I was asked him to do was to do an interview. Like, would you sit down and talk about it with me? And he never responded. He hasn't responded yet. But the message I sent to him was blunt in the way that I wanted to drive it home to him, that this guy can't be a youngster anymore. He's got to be in his 80s or, up there in his late 80s or getting there. And you can't take something like that to your deathbed with you. What do you got to lose? Put it out there. Be the hero that Paul Hellyer was for me, and in Canada, and the people in the UFO industry, anyone that believed in aliens and had been saying that they existed and possibly could be on our planet and everything else, that were doing the researchers back then. Well, when he came and blew the lid off it and said it, well, this guy could be, somewhat like that, but that's why I changed my name, is because I was going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into that. I got on the MK Davis thing. I watched a couple of his the 2 original interviews he did, which you can't find right now, which I have. I found them on some server over in the UK, of MK Davis. These 2 interviews that he did, and then they give full details of, and this was before anyone in this community knew about this. It was a show that he did over there, and I can show them to you. I'm going to send them to you. This is factual stuff, but it got me so upset because I'm not they all want to be your friends guy. I now believe, I have to believe that they're real, because I believe a couple of these, or not a couple, but there's definitely a few of them, and I'm putting 10 of them together for my brother right now to prove to him that they exist. These people are not lying. This did happen to them. I can't say what happened to me is Sasquatch or alien, or, like I said, paranormal, scoop, ghosts, divine intervention, or what. I can't say, but I could say that there's been a couple researchers in the community of Sasquatch that this exact thing. Carl's sitting right here. He's one of them. Ron Moorhead's another. You got Michigan Rob is another. You got the Kevin Keen, Kehn or whatever. These are all prominent researchers in this community that have been researching and doing boots on the ground research for 30 years. Not a couple last few years fly by the seat of your pants crap. These guys are crawling around in the woods and getting up close and personal. You don't get what happened to me and what happened to Carl unless you're within a foot of these things. And I had one touch me. Okay, there's no way, unless they have some kind of other power that can just go like this, whoop, whoop, and throw me. Superman.
We don't know.
Which, to be honest, Doug, I'm not. At this point, the more I watch, like I said, the more I watch and learn about this stuff and their abilities and what is actually happening to people, and what Flat said, which is stuff showing up in their living rooms, and you have these habituators that I watched one this afternoon that's got a CD out of 200 words that she grew up with Sasquatch. I forget her name, and she's well known. I should know her name because, you know, I've been in this community long enough, but she's a well-known habituator, and there's a bunch of them, and there's a few of them that I immediately went, you haven't said anything that is anything that I can actually nail down as being actual, factual, put my foot on kind of thing. And when I'm looking at how am I going to speak to these things on my property, because they clearly want to talk, they're leaving me messages. I'm too dumb to have not had the time to hop on and figure out what these glyphs mean and what language they're in. I've tracked them down to some cave in Serbia from before humans were ever even a thing. They were doing these glyphs.
Hey, can I throw something in there? Speaking of glyphs, David, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, I want to hear about glyphs.
I have pictures of this. I've actually sent it to Bigfoot or New York Todd and Greg Olson, a couple guys. But I found it was about the size of a baseball, just little sticks stuck in the ground in a circle, like a little corral, and it was filled with cedar cones, real small, just off trail. I don't know what to make of that. And I found other glyphs kind of in the area too, but like,
here's the thing, right? Like
anything like that.
It could mean a lot of things. I have seen that. Actually, I've seen it. I've not only seen it the way you described it, little cedar cones in a circle with one in the middle that's standing there physically. I've also seen it in a glyph on the side of a rock wall today. In a video I was watching, that they're taking this back to, these guys were looking for gold. And they're looking for Jesse James.
This was by an old mining ghost town.
Okay, so here's the other thing that I discovered doing this research in the last year is there is a ton of information from hunters, hunting videos. Okay, I'm going to show you a video. I got to track it down, but I saw what Barb Shoop saw in her video of the predator effect. Yeah. Sasquatch. Okay, this turkey hunter was with his daughter, and they were sitting and by a tree. They got there the night before, like 4 a.m, way before the sun came up, and they're sitting there and they get their spot and they're by the tree. They can hear the turkeys gobbling or whatever they do in the morning, and so they start calling them in. And his daughter says, I'm going to move up. I'm going to move up because they're just over the ridge right here. Like you can see, they're on a slanted hill with trees. And so she moves up and she's got a camera and she's filming and stuff, trying to see them and stuff. And then it's just getting to daylight and stuff. And he's calling from the tree with his little thing, whatever. And she turns around when he gobbles. She turns around to say something to him and has the camera on him. When the camera hits him, he looks like Predator, like the Barbara Shoot video. He is showing up, and I'm like, now he didn't have a ghillie suit on. He had camo, but he didn't have ghillie suit on. So I'm like, well, that I have to see again. I rewound that and watched that. I immediately brought up Barb Shoot's video, the little Predator one, and I'm like, they're identical. I wonder if it's the exact same camera and if that's a defect in that camera or the lighting or whatever at the time that did it, or whether it's the ability of a Sasquatch that can do it, or whether it's a defect or something, the lighting, like I said. But they're identical. And I want to actually I'll show you that video because you'll look at it and go, holy cow, that's exactly the same thing right there.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
You know, and so, but I got off track. Once I saw that, then I was like, there's lots of hunting video. Okay, so here's another one. I remembered I was watching a YouTube channel. It's a guy and a girl, and they're over in Australia, and they're literally, it's called Catch and Cook or whatever, and they live on a boat, and they go out for these 10 days or 20-day trips and live on an island or live on the boat, or and they do survival, different things to keep people interested in everything. Really cool, fun. And I'm heavily into fishing. I have my pans and everything in the boat. I can go camp I could take off into the bush and I'll be gone for a week and I'll be fine. Drop me out of a plane, I'll be fine. We're good. Okay. So, but I was heavily into watching these survival shows, and these two are doing it. Well, in one of the shows, they're walking down the beach back to the boat and they hear whack, exactly like we hear in every one of these videos of wood knocks.
Yeah.
It's very similar, but very loud. Okay. And they both look at each other and they turn around and he's like, well, what's that? And she's like, I don't know. And then you hear this scream, like the whole Ohio howl scream, where, the loudest screams that we've heard that could be Bigfoot or Sasquatch. They hear that right after this whack. It wasn't even a minute later. They get to the boat and they hear this scream as they're pushing the boat off into the water. And he looks at her and they both do the sign and like looking at each other going, what the heck was that? And it sounded, what did he say? He said, there's no monkeys on this island. He said that sounded like a gorilla, like,
Oh, yeah.
But he said, there's no monkeys on this island. And she's like, oh, that's so weird. Anyway, let's get out of here. So they get on the boat and they take off. That's just a little blip in their little fishing, cooking. But there's all kinds, I bet, of these little clips and Sasquatch standing in the background of these hunters' videos and stuff when they're combing the area and everything else that we'll never see. This community will never be privy to, unless something happens to the hunter that he, like what happened to me, where I then come and find you guys and say, hello, friends, I'm here. This is great. Well,
David, I hate to be the cop. Somebody has
good.
to be the cop here.
Yes.
We're running really long on time, so we got to kind of wrap things up here pretty quick. But man, what a great conversation. And David, I think the best part about this for me is, this has been cathartic for you. And
I'm not going to lie. Thank you. I'm shaking.
And that really made my day. To have this be so cathartic for you.
Some validation.
It made my day. I'm really glad that you got this off your chest, and I could just tell you're feeling better about it. That's awesome. So kudos to the community for that.
Jeff, I was sitting here thinking the same thing. In fact, actually, I wasn't thinking the same thing. I know I'm feeling better because I got the opportunity.
I can
talk
tell.
If you're going to tell someone what happened to you, I get to talk to you guys. You guys have been doing this since October.
Well, I'm proud to be part of it.
You guys have been doing this for years and years, and Doug's got shows on TVs and Flat I see in every chat room, and you got Carl's the best researcher out there. Like, who better to be able to tell it to? But I'm not going to lie. the thought's been sitting here in my head every once in a while going, tomorrow am I going to wake up and want to kill myself because I just unleash
no, you're in the right place. I'm glad you're here, and it was so cool to be a part of that, and to see you just I can just tell you feel better, and that's great. That's so awesome to see.
So David, I'm going to get your number and we can talk off camera.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And Flat, we're going to get you guys back. Let's go right into some. We'll leave you with a little wisdom here.
Yep, we'll be right back.
Just hang tight, guys.
Yep, we'll be right back.
It's time for Untold Radio AM Wisdom of the Week. It's now time for Untold Radio AM Wisdom of the Week. Remember, with an open mind to fresh perspectives, added curiosity plus lifelong learning, combined with kindness and gratitude, many exciting new opportunities could be unlocked for you. Thank you, everyone, from all of us at the Untold Radio Network. Good night.
All right, guys. We will be back next week, same time, same channel. Please leave us a thumbs up if you can. Leave us a nice comment. And I'm sure that we're going to get all these guys back. We're going to do a super show. Okay. I'll arrange that. If you guys are willing to do it, let's do it.
I'll let you know in the morning when I tell you how I feel. But I can tell you one thing.
You will have a little bit of a hangover from the relief.
I hope so. And I just want to thank you guys. Like, seriously, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I also want to thank every single person I've met in the chat. Because, Doug, I've been in your chat, like I said, since I came across one of the first episodes. And in lots of the communities, this community is unbelievable. And I truly believe, well, for me, I got here at the right time because there's been all kinds of crap that I've heard about and everything else. This the flesh and blood versus paranormal and all the arguing and infight. I think that's all over. All I've witnessed is love in your community and your chat. And I'd like to thank everyone in the chats that's been supportive and helpful because it was very hard for me to come talk to you guys tonight. It took everything, and it took my wife was the one that.
I was worried you're going to be real shy, but you've come out of your shell pretty good there.
When my wife said, "Listen, if you're going to go on there, go on there."
I wasn't expecting that, David. You have a lot to talk about, man.
Well, she said, if you're going to go on there, and don't leave it on the table. I got a little pissed off because my brother was watching for, he watched for, I don't even know, 5 minutes, and he was just hangs up. And
I came here to listen to Carl.
Well, Carl, yeah. I mean, he's a hero of mine. I came here to listen to Carl. And let's not forget William Robinson, who was in here.
Rusty's story is pretty amazing.
Amazing. And he adds so much insight. He's a doctor. He adds so much insight into your chats. And when, people get out of line with the facts start to get a little out there, you just drag them back into, no, this is actual factual, right? So I love it.
It was great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Great meeting you.
Good night, Carl.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start falling, we'll head home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart. And I'll wait for the time when we'll be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, that I'll find my way back. home to you again. ever you should be in doubt, and